But yes, there. Finally, now we are legitimately actually streaming. I clicked the wrong button moments ago, but let me start the music back up. We should be good to
In the
go.
words of a great man, this is insane.
This is so insane. I am joined by quite possibly the greatest Electrode user of all time. And on this stream, my coach, to help me better understand how to run this team and stop sucking so much on the ladder. I've got All I Do Is Win 3 with me. Win, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, and while this is the second intro, I just gotta say you are doing like a really like genuine job going for the Hun pronunciation. Like I respect the fuck out of that.
I'm doing what I can.
I've so much of my life I have just been like it's win, like the opposite of lose. Just keep it simple.
Right. Right.
And I respect so hard, uh, like the genuine effort. For real, it is appreciated. It is noticed.
Am I nailing it, or do you just appreciate the effort?
So there's so here's the thing: the UY sound in Vietnamese makes the what sound, like there's a little bit in the back of your throat, and so the H into that makes the hun, hun, hun,
Hun.
and it's got this accent on it where it's like you're saying "aw," like you're sad. You're sad saying my name, so it's hun,
Hun.
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 Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, nice. Well, I just even like giving it a shot. I had the advantage of having a roommate in college that had the same last name and nationality, so that put me a little bit ahead of the curve. And
Mother after there, I knew there was a reason I had to do All I Do Is Win 3 instead of 2 or 1.
yeah,
I'm blaming them.
exactly. Yeah. Well, I won't get into their nickname, but it's listen, I'm happy to have you here. I'm glad that you reached out. You recognized me because we've actually commentated before. We've met before in the Smash scene back when I used to live back in Ohio. We were part of the same community back in OSU Melee. So it's been a while, and you were the one that kind of turned me on to this whole Electrode thing, right? I made the Electabuzz video, and you posted about Electrode.
Mad.
I'm sorry?
I got mad at the guy claiming Electabuzz is better than Jolteon, and I think he might have claimed it was better than Mag, and claimed it was better than Raikou.
It was
an
entire tier above Raikou.
I was like, oh, I'm not here for this. I don't know if you've gone back to that Reddit post, but I made a post, or I made a comment on it where I posted like, hey, I made an Electabuzz team, got to 1620. My conclusion is that Electabuzz sucks, and here's why.
I did not see that, but I mean, 1620 is no joke. Somebody mentioned on the video recently, if they were trying to empower Electabuzz, they would like baton pass it a Calm Mind stack, and I hadn't thought of that. And it's like if you bolster its unimpressive special attack, it has the speed tier, it has the coverage, and now it's hitting a little bit more like Jolteon. Do you think that idea has any viability? What are your thoughts on that quickly?
That's actually so goated, and I'm so mad I didn't think about that, because one of the huge problems with that Pokemon is that it gets revenge killed by Starmie. Like, it takes any chip damage, and then it gets outsped, and not fully O-code, I think, with Hydro Pump, but it takes nearly no chip damage to die to Hydro Pump.
Right.
And so if you get rid of that, or if you pass it a Calm Mind, you reduce the number of ways you can lose to almost just Arrow. Well, Arrow and Dugtrio.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So maybe there's a little bit more to the story, but
there might be a little juice.
But
there might be a little bit of juice in Electabuzz.
But you posted a comment on that video, and you were telling me about how like you actually think Electrode is an interesting Electro type that people don't talk about. I was already like thinking of doing an Electrode video. And you posted that, and I was like, I want to hear what you have to say. Turns out we already met in the past. You messaged me on Discord. You sent me like all these replays. You told me that you reached top 10 on the ladder with a team that I'm struggling to even go 500 with at like 1300 elo. So I have a lot to learn. And for today, you suggested that we take a look at some VODs. We watch some of my losses, try to learn from them, and then we're gonna jump on the ladder and see where we can go from there.
Well, there is a couple of things that I kind of wanted to actually talk about before we hop into the VODs.
Sure.
Because there is something that I think is important to growing as a Pokemon player in general. Like Electrode aside, I mean, Electrode's dope, but like, we're trying to get better. All of us are trying to get better every game. Do you feel like when you lose with this team, you can identify like where you're going wrong, or do you feel like you can say, if I had made this decision better, not like, oh, if I get this read right it's over, but like, no, I made a calculated error where if I had thought about it more, I could have gotten like a clean win through this sequence. Do you feel like you have been able to identify that after these games or not?
Yes and no. There's some spots where it's like, okay, for some reason I thought that like Heracross with a Salac Berry was going to get outsped by Starmie, which is never the case, right? Like if I get the Salac, I'm outspeeding
Literally
the
never the case. Not only that, you outspeed even Aerodactyl.
Okay, so that's like clearly like I just threw, and I'm sure I'm throwing in yet more ways that I'm not identifying. There are some games where it's like I feel like I played to the best of my ability, and the feeling, I know this isn't reality, but the feeling is I lost a couple coin flips, and I lost a few mind games, and there was nothing I could do, and I know that that's incorrect. But the other like limiting factor right now is I feel like my processing time of making decisions is also a challenge, because I often find myself running low on the timer, and then I kind of have to just like make snap decisions, and I don't have the experience to play nearly close to like optimal in a situation like that. So there's kind of like a lot going on, but that's kind of how I feel right now.
Sure. So like, just as an analysis on what we do after a loss.
Yeah.
If you feel like okay, I lost, but I know why, and the reason why is because like I made this decision, which was incorrect as far as like knowing the speed tiers or something.
Yeah.
That's our solution to that, is we change the way we play, right? The next time we're in that position, we're not going to make that mistake, and we're good. We're going to move forward with that. Like, I made this team for me. I never really intended on pasting it anywhere or showing anybody.
Yeah.
But there are absolutely times where I'll like look at a team or receive a team from someone else, play it a couple times, and be like, you know what? I kind of hate this Tyranitar set. Like, the way I'm using Tyranitar is I keep trying to bring it in to get value out of it, but it keeps on just thudding into Skarm. So I'm gonna switch the set to like Fire Blast mixed. And what I'm trying to say is sometimes it's not our fault. The way we naturally think the team should be played is resulting in like Pokemon having roles that they aren't well suited to. So sometimes like it's super admirable to take responsibility for like results that you're not happy with, but sometimes it is appropriate to say, no, I gotta change something about this team. Something is wrong with this team in the way that I interpret it. And while yes, you could just interpret it like exactly this way and maybe it would be better, but like, I mean, you're asking for a lot there, right? You're asking to be able to like transplant the brain of someone who's played 2 or 3 years of ADV and learned it in a very weird way in order to be able to function with this team. So like it's important to give yourself a little bit of grace, a little bit of patience here, and be like, maybe it is team's fault to some degree, because the way that it looks to play logically in my mind is not having great results. What if I had more bulk on Kingdra? What if I went with leftovers Snorlax? What if I did all of these other things? Sometimes it's the team's fault, and it's important to acknowledge, or to give yourself the ability to blame the team and not just always be so hard on yourself as a player.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I like that perspective. And, just with the inherent RNG associated with playing Pokemon and the small sample size that is a single game, You're not going to win every game. You got to roll with the punches. But at the same time, like my ultimate goal with all this, I'm having a ton of fun like making content, but the most fun I have is commentating, and I want to become a better commentator. And to me, I think the biggest like gap in my commentary, or like the biggest room I have for improvement, is just my own understanding of the metagame, my experience with ADV. I feel like I bring a lot to the table, but I feel like I'm like just barely beyond a more like novice amateur understanding of the metagame. And players that have played for a long time, I feel like they're not going to get as much from my commentary as somebody who's newer. If somebody's new, I feel like I could actually provide them a decent experience. So I just want to become better. I want to be able to climb the ladder. I want to be capable of like getting a high ladder position. And there's a knowledge gap, there's an experience gap. And I'm trying to bridge those gaps. And I'd like to be able to pilot a team like this to maybe not necessarily top 10 on the ladder, but it'd be really cool to at least be able to know I can take a team that somebody else got a high ranking with and at least get it to like, I don't know, 1600 or like 1700. The goal is arbitrary, but you've proven that it can be done, right? And I want to try to understand your thought process and implement those things and improve is kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, and I feel that. I'm not sure if we are fully in agreement on like sort of next steps, but I recognize your side of the debate. I think what I'm what I'm getting at is that like sometimes what went wrong and you identify it's your own play. Sometimes you know what went wrong. It was like this moment, and if you had a different set, it actually would have been great. And I think sometimes it should be you should be willing to be like, let's make some adjustments and see how to make this fit for my play style a little bit better. But
sure, yeah,
there's a real problem if the team makes you feel like at the end of the game you're sitting there like, wait, how did that happen? How did I lose? I don't think I did anything wrong, and I'm genuinely confused how this loss occurred, because a team, sure, there's a billion workable teams. This is a workable team. It can work.
Yeah.
There's a much smaller percentage of good teams. Like BKC is one of the all-time team builders, and he's brought some not good teams into tournaments. They're workable, but they're not like truly good. But he can play them. But like, what matters way more than whether a team is good or workable or bad is whether or not it's right for you in that moment. And a team that's right for you in the moment is going to be a team that rewards you for making good or correct plays. And by the way, those are different. We're going to go over a play that is like, there's a big argument about it maybe being good but not being correct. And we want a team that rewards us for doing that, to like instill positive and good habits, but we also want it to disincentivize bad or wrong plays so that we break bad habits and can learn from them. If you're playing and you leave a game and you're like, I don't know, I literally don't know how to improve from that game, then that's the team failing to give you the correct feedback for you to be able to identify what's going right and wrong. And I do think that's an issue with the team. And there's actually a beautiful example of this in the second Electrode video. That's like super, super quick, and we should probably talk about it later. But
okay.
I do think that there's like some real value in accepting maybe this is just not the right team for me right now. If I want to learn, if I want to get better, let's see what I do that will allow me to like improve as a player. Because if someone tells me in Melee, for example, that they want to get into Melee, and they tell me that they love fast characters that are high execution and only have to make like really, really like decisions every now and again, I'm not going to say, oh, you know what? you should play like Sheik. You should play like, I don't know, Puff. I'm gonna be like, no, you should play Fox.
Right.
And then every now and again you'll be able to get a huge read with up air, and you're gonna have fun, and it's gonna encourage you to do what you're doing well, and it's gonna hide some of your weaknesses and give you the opportunity to improve on those. Because ask any Melee player after they lose a set why they lost a set, they're gonna have a million reasons. But if they ever after a set say, honestly, I don't know what I could have done to win that, it's just ridiculous, then at some point they have to be like, maybe there's a wall, maybe I have to look at this from a totally different perspective. And there's a great example of this at incredibly high levels. Armada couldn't beat HBox with Peach. Maybe was a better
Right.
player, maybe playing a matchup that's doable, couldn't do it for years, switched to Youngling, a worse character, but Armada said, this character gives me enough of an understanding of what I'm supposed to do and enough chances to outplay with my skill set that
With his
I
skill
am
set,
gonna
right.
prefer this. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And-
yeah.
And so if this is not feeling that way, and there's a moment that I think is a great example that it might not be, I think this is a good team to like just click X on it in the team builder, and in a couple like weeks or months when you feel like, you know what, I feel way better, I feel like I'm understanding how to be a very aggressive player, how to do these certain things, maybe copy paste it back in. But I'm personally thinking like maybe we'll like slow down a little bit on using it. But there are still moments that I really want to talk about of you using this team
Yeah.
that I think are like super encouraging. Because you went, I think, like 2-2 or something in the first video, and boy, you did not deserve to go 2-2. You deserve to go 4-0. You deserve to go 4-0 easily that video. And I'll show you like the moments. But
Okay.
yeah, there's that difference between the team that works or is good versus the team that's right for you in the moment to help you learn.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I'm really curious to hear like the feedback that you have, and I know there's a couple like pivotal turns that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so
I'd
right
love
off
to
the bat, we got to
dive
start
in.
with this turn. We got to start with this turn.
This turn, right? It's a Metagross staring at a Skarmory. We were talking about this a bit before we went live, but I mean here we are, right? And ultimately, is it a 50-50 between Mash and Explosion? I mean, do you ever mix in Earthquake or Double Edged, assuming something else is going to come in? Like, I guess how do you approach this turn one?
So this turn one is wild. Because Skarmory lead is very uncommon, because while yes, it's great to lead with your Spiker, Skarmory lead gets demolished by the Zapdos lead,
Right.
and it gets demolished by Mixed Salamence lead,
Mm-hmm.
and it demolished by like any physical attacking lead that also has a Magneton in the back. Because the
True.
on paper decision here is like, oh, so what's this Skarmory thinking? The Skarmory is thinking one of two things. Either it's YOLO Skarm, and they're saying, Magneton, or Metagross lead, go Magneton, go Magneton, go Magneton.
Yeah, once
or,
you switch to Mag, it's going to spike up and then HP ground.
Kill you. Yep. Or this is a Spadef Skarm who thinks, that's a weird lead. Banded Metagross is not the most common.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a Magneton back there. You know what? It could be. I'm speaking from the perspective of the Skarmory.
Right.
It could be mixed meta. Could be Hidden Power Fire meta as an anti-Skarmory lead, because that's the one time Skarmory loves to switch in. So it could be that. I have to worry about those two. I have to worry about Magneton. And you know what? I guess I do kind of have to worry about Houdini, because that's on the table. So because there's just no information revealed yet, I'm Benji, or all I do is win as the Skarmory. I'm switching. I'm switching because I'm just like, I'm gonna wait for a better chance.
Right. Like, there's too many different scenarios. Like, if you protect, assuming it's Houdini, I could simply switch to Mag. You get no spike, and then you're fighting from behind for the rest of the entire game based off of one decision you made with like literally no information.
with no information. And you didn't just make a decision with no information, you made like the riskiest decision possible with no information, which is a crazy thing to go for. So in this position, as a Metagross, I know that the Skarm has to be worried about a million things. And so I'm clicking Mash. Because if it's YOLO, I actually want to click Mash, not Boom. Because YOLO Skarm isn't actually a problem for this team. Like, everything kills it. I do mean, like, everything kills it.
Yeah.
Like, +1 Brick Break from Snorlax is a 3-hit KO, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's kind of insane.
Okay,
yeah, that's fair. I think I misread because you gave me some feedback in a comment on this video, I think, and I thought I saw you say something like, "Oh no, if you're in front of Skarm, like you need to blow up on it. You don't want it to get a spike."
There's a really really specific interaction that I realized afterwards that I was like, oh no, I really didn't do justice to how complicated the situation is. Because the situation is, I think I say something like, you boom Skarmory on the switch. Meaning you click boom when you know Skarmory is back there, but it's not in front of you.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, like, when is Skarmory most likely to click spikes? It's most likely to click spikes if it is in against a physical attacker that it does not think is going to hurt it. So the one time that's going to happen is if it's coming in, because if they thought it was going to boom, they wouldn't have come in. But like, let's say it's Metagross in against a Blissey, then super safe boom if you know Skarmory's in the back. Because let's think about the position for them. If they switch in their just for the sake of example, let's say that we have revealed Zapdos and we Thunderbolted into a Blissey, and then we switched Metagross into the Blissey. So they know there's a Zapdos back there, and they know that this Metagross is choice banned because they haven't seen leftovers. So they're thinking, if I stay in and hit this with Seismic Toss, I'm going into next week from this Meteor Mash.
Yeah, they can't stay.
If I switch,
they can't. They have to switch.
Can't. If they switch into Swampert, they're taking like 40 from Meteor Mash. Yeah, they heal. But for what? For what? So that they can protect, get switched into by Zapdos, do 0 damage, and have taken 30. And then they have to switch back into Blissey, and oh crap, they just doubled into Metagross again.
Exactly.
So, so I mean, what did I just do? I just threw 30% on Swampert into the garbage, into the trash.
True.
And if it's Double Edge, Metagross Double Edge on Swampert does like, it can do 60 depending on the Swampert.
It's insane.
So scary. So they're saying crazy. Can't do that, and Zapdos has been revealed. So if they switch into Skarmory and I double into Zapdos, what does that get me? They just switch into Blissey and take 18% from a Thunderbolt and then heal it back. So Skarmory is the best play for a million different reasons. It covers the aggressive double. It covers the Meteor Mash. It allows them to get a spike. It's not a 50-50 anymore. It's one of those like 99-1 situations where it's like, look, I've set up a position here where Skarmory is just the answer. And that's when we boom.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
And I just want to do one other little like adjustment here.
Okay.
Is that if we talk about, remember how I was talking about that situation where it's like Zapdos is in against the Swampert, and we're going to double Metagross in
to get in front of the Blissey, right?
The reason we do that is because they can predict the double switch and go Skarmory. And why can they do that? Because Swampert's the Pokemon that's in, and if it gets HP grassed and you switch to Skarmory, you take 0, and you can freely go back into Blissey. So there's no sweat off your back if you have to do that. But if they correctly predict me doubling, then they get the spike, and that's awesome. But that's exactly why we double into Metagross, because now they think they have the advantage, and the only reason you ever make this play is to have the spike down, which means Houdini is once again guaranteed. It's not the same position. Yes, it's a Metagross against a Skarmory, but it's a wildly different position than this one because it's a Metagross that got predicted and double switched into by a Skarmory. So they made this decision trying to get this matchup. And you only do that if you're going to stay in. You only do that if you're going to click the best move in the game, which is spikes.
This is crazy.
And then Houdini meta crazy. Houdini meta is like guaranteed again.
Okay, you're like blowing my mind a little bit, and I'm processing most of it. I'm gonna go back and like re-listen to that like 100 times after we're done. But that was beautiful.
It's a little insane. It is a little bit much.
No, yeah, no. This is absolutely furthering my understanding and my comfortability in just trying to understand, because I feel like when people get into competitive Pokemon, it feels like you're playing like a lot of rock paper scissors, but they're not all the same value. Like sometimes like certain like pieces of your chessboard are more important than others. They represent different things, and understanding like those looping situations and who benefits from like those loops, and thus like what they're most likely going to want to do to try to break out of that and exploiting that. Understanding like the likelihood of where they're going to go for all those reasons. These are the things I need to be thinking about. That was sick. So
but all of this is to say, we're going to Meteor Mash this Skarmory because there's so many things that can go wrong if we don't do it. We're going to Meteor Mash this Skarmory. And I think that's
we can always blow it up later.
We can always blow it up later. Actually, if it just sits here and takes it, we might be able to just Meteor Mash it down, and then we still have a Metagross.
Exactly.
So we can boom on something else. That's even better. And then we see 43. Did that Meteor Mash just do 43? That's the fakest Skarmory I've ever seen in my life.
Right, because it normally is supposed to do like in the 30s, like 34, 35 or something. So you immediately recognize this as YOLO Skarmory.
Yeah, or just a silly Skarmory. It'd have to be YOLO because Skarmories don't run any physical defense, so this is 0 HP Skarmory. Or maybe like 20 HP Skarmory or something.
Right. So we did click Meteor Mash. They spiked, and we're clicking it again. There's no other decision than to simply just stay in and keep like forcing it to take damage. It can protect Chip Heal if it wants, and then something's gonna have to take another mash. We could get an attack raise, and if we get an attack raise on a Swampert, maybe we even convince ourselves to click it again. What do you think about
maybe we convince ourselves to click it again? Maybe if we get an attack raise on the Swampert and we see that it's like fully defensive Swampert and it's not gonna die, maybe we tell ourselves, okay, we have Double Edge for the exact reason of killing this thing. Let's go Zapdos for now, and we'll be able to beat it with Double Edge later. We don't have to take 2 Earthquakes so early into the game.
Makes sense.
Yeah, if you want to Meteor Mash this thing, again, it's YOLO Skarm. I'm 100% okay with that. YOLO Skarm often doesn't even run Protect, so like Meteor Mash this thing. Don't even be afraid of the possible Protect sometimes.
Sure. Okay.
I don't remember how this goes to see. Oh,
they go
Rachi.
Rachi. Okay.
Oh, this one. Oh, can you pause this?
Yeah.
This one broke my heart, Zets. It broke my heart.
All right, talk to me.
That Meteor Mash did less to Jirachi than it did to Skarmory.
True. Okay, so immediately it's do you just know it's Wish Protect? Like immediately?
Not only do I know it's Wish Protect, well, let me rephrase. I don't know that it's Wish Protect 100%, but I know that at minimum it's 252 HP with some defense EVs, because like that's a sturdy Jirachi. That Jirachi is taking as much as like full HP Skarm, so that's got to be max HP, some defense, and immediately I'm thinking to myself, look, it's probably Wish. I'm not saying it's not. But at minimum, it's not an offensive Rachi. At minimum, it's not an offensive Rachi.
It's not like Calm Mind.
Yeah, it's probably not Calm Mind. And if it is, let's shake their hand, because like max HP, some defense investment, Calm Mind Rachi, that speed creeps T-Tar? I guess that could work. It would get like O-Code by every fire move that exists. Not O-Code, but But it's one of those like if it's exactly that, we'll just shake their hands. So here now that I'm thinking it's defensive and I'm looking at my team, I'm like Metagross is my switch into Jirachi because it has Earthquake and it's the only move that's super effective against this thing. So Metagross is already in, and I've done enough that he has to wish. So if he doesn't wish, I'm gonna Meteor Mash him. If I get the raise, he's toast, and if I don't get the raise and he doesn't wish, he's also toast. He will have to protect, and I can abuse that with a double into Zapdos. So I'm mashing again.
You're mashing again. That's crazy. So it's because you know this thing is like likely to click wish. Like you're doing it because we could get a crit, we could get an attack raise, and if it doesn't, like we didn't lose anything. Because then they have to protect, and we can switch somewhere else if we want. Is that kind of where you're?
Absolutely, all of that was correct. Everything you just said was right, but there's something even more important.
Okay.
Which is, what the hell are we switching into this? Are we switching Heracross, the only physical attacker other than Snorlax, who we definitely don't want to bring in on this Raji? Because, like, our Snorlax doesn't have Earthquake, our Snorlax doesn't have Recovery. If it comes in on this Raji, it's just going to get Body Slammed until it dies. And even worse, the Body Slam's going to pop our Lum, so if they have a Gengar in the back, and that's a Skarmory, Gengar in the back is possible,
right,
then we really need that Lum. So, like, we don't have a better switch in than this. This thing is the switch in to Jirachi, and it clicks Earthquake and it kills it. So because it's already in, we gotta force a protect in order to get like Zapdos in, and then we can start playing because Zapdos can sub. Zapdos has a bunch of defense EVs, so it won't get broken by Body Slam. We have stuff we can do, but we gotta make it protect first.
Interesting.
Watch, I'm gonna say all of this, and it protects this turn, and we should have switched to Zap. Just wait.
I'll tell you, I couldn't even tell you what exactly I did in this spot. Looking here before you even said anything, I'm thinking, I don't know, am I going lax and like hoping it doesn't get a Fire Punch burn and just starting to curse up? I really don't even remember what I chose.
Fire Punch burn.
What's that?
We got Lum. We can even swallow Fire Punch burn because we're Lum, which is dope.
Oh, I did.
Let's go, Meteor Mash.
I did decide to stay in. And
okay, so here I think so. My opinion as the Rachi is we gotta click protect because, like I don't know 100% of the roles for this thing, but like we have to click protect because we're so low that they're probably just gonna stay in and Meteor Mash to force us to protect. I think that Wish is really risky here for Rachi. But maybe there's an argument in favor of Wish as well. But either way, I think I'm going Zapdos because I know that Zapdos isn't going to get Body Slammed, and I know that Zapdos isn't going to get Fire Punched and burned. It's something passive is going to happen. It's either going to protect or Wish. And then we can get Zap in there, we can get a sub up on the protect, and we can start making some progress with that. Force him to reveal his other Pokemon. Force them. I don't know Serpent Zero.
Of course. Okay. So because you know that they're going to be clicking protect or wish a huge chunk of the time, we use this opportunity to get Zapdos in, which if it clicked wish, we're going to be able to agility and or sub. If it protects now, we have the Zapdos in its face. It's still fairly low %, and then we're threatening Thunderbolt. It's kind of scared.
We're actually going to sub because if we switch in on a protect, then the protect will have failed,
right? So
which means that they're heavily incentivized to protect again, and so we will punish that with sub.
Okay. Is this where I go? Do I go lax here? It looks like I'm thinking about it. I'm talking through my process. Sadly, we don't have the replays of this, so all I have is the video of me recording a commentary.
Oh my god!
Go with Rachi, and they decided to body slam. They actually just full sent it.
What a crazy play! Cause like they're gonna be at 0. They're gonna be at like 4 or 8% from the body slam after that. So maybe what they're thinking is like this Metagross is gonna kill my entire team. So I gotta get rid of it now.
I'll get rid of the Rachi if it means a 60% chance of trying to cripple this thing, and it's obviously banded, so it's not gonna like have Lum. And if I can slow this thing down, at least I can stop it from running over my team. So maybe that represents that he feels weak to banded Metagross.
I love that that's where you're going, because I think that's probably completely true, and that should mean the fact that they were willing to do that should make us think keep Metagross at all costs. We're not going to blow that thing up until it's at 4%.
That's so true. And I absolutely did not process that at all in the moment. But that's an awesome key takeaway. Now that we have Zappin and it's paralyzed, and I'm pretty sure this is where I get incredibly poor full para luck.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Zapdos doesn't use any of its PP.
Yeah, I don't think it gets a single move.
I think it dies. All right, but let's see what happens.
Hold on, I hate to do this. I need to.
Oh, no, yeah.
I need to use the restroom very quickly. We'll be back in like
absolutely.
30 seconds.
No, listen, chat. BKC is famous for his bathroom breaks, so we're learning from a person who at one point was considered the greatest of all time. And now you might be asking yourself, what does it mean to be at one point the greatest of all time? By definition, that term means all time. Well, people are very bad at predicting the future, so there was a point in time where Bill Russell was the greatest player of all time. There is some number of years where perhaps Jim Brown was the greatest player of all time. But we grew as sports, we grew as community, and we reached the point where now LeBron is the greatest player of all time, or MJ, if that's your opinion. Or Tom Brady is the greatest player of all time. So they had a point in their career where that's what we thought of them. And BKC was at one point the greatest player of all time. But then everything changed after Snake Draft. I don't remember which Snake Draft, but there was a poor performance in a Snake Draft, and then he retired, and a bunch of other players came and did really well. Did really, really well. Yeah, okay, you know what? Let's look at this. So the Rachi's in. It's so dirty little secret here is if it's Body Slam and bulky, it's probably just the Smogon set. It's probably just Spadef, Wish, Protect, Bot, Fire Punch.
We're back.
And we're back.
I don't know if my Be Right Back scene had your voice coming through, but if you were trying to provide some commentary during the downtime, I appreciate it. We're here. It's Zapdos. We're fully paralyzed. In this spot, I know I stay in and eventually just die forever. I'm pretty sure I'm just trying to freaking T-Bolt the thing and pressure it.
Yeah, hit it. Hit it with T-Bolt. I think that's a totally fine decision. The only thing is if like we ever think they're going to protect, we should click sub instead of T-Bolt. But like otherwise, let's click T-Bolt.
We haven't seen Protect yet. We've seen Fire Punch. It does go for Wish. And of course I get full para there.
So now we know this is Wish, Fire Punch, Body Slam.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look on Smogon.com, you will see that Wish, Protect, Body Slam, Fire Punch is the recommended set on defensive Jirachi.
Okay.
Which is 252 HP, like 170 something special defense.
Okay.
A little bit into physical defense, and then some speed to creep Tyranitar.
Okay.
God, don't you love ADV? Don't you love a generation where you have to invest in 4 different stats?
Is that less common as you go throughout the generations?
Yeah, eventually it becomes you really need to specialize. So you're running like a Skarmory with 252 HP, 252 physical defense. Or you're running like a Gengar with 252 speed, 252 special attack. Whereas the Gengar in this generation is like, you run exactly 92 speed so that you outrun this.
Yeah, you run like this much special defense so that you can like survive, Pursuit Tar's pursuit after like some sort of chip or something crazy. I've heard Jimothy talk about that stuff.
It's even better than that. It's survive Pursuit Tar Pursuit with enough HP to not die to sand after.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you have to, at worst, go down to 7%. Sure.
Yep.
So anyway, we're in this spot. It just wished. So do you take this opportunity to go elsewhere? Like, because it doesn't even need to protect here, right? Like it
that's
feels...
the thing. It doesn't. So I would probably stay in T-Bolt.
Yeah. That's
and
because T-Bolting doesn't even accomplish anything. Like, because
it helps though. It'll keep it It'll change. So it's going to be at 100 if you don't get the
Oh,
T-bolt.
true,
and it'll be at,
yeah, because we hit it before the wish comes down. That's so true. And crit
yeah.
still kills.
Crit kills.
And like we have parachance. So yeah, there's still, you know, a ton of value in T-bolting. The other thing, and I don't know how valuable this would be, but since we're now slower, we have slow sub. Is there ever any value in like getting hit by this thing and then subbing while parried? Like, does that ever make any sense?
I kind of love that you went there, but I think there's a certain element in your head that is looking at agility substitute Zapdos and assuming it's Baton Pass. This is not.
Right.
There's a bunch of reasons to do that for Baton Pass Zapdos. This situation, you're just sad. You're just sad that you got parried.
Yeah.
There's not a great deal to gain, but
Fair
you're
enough.
probably happy that you got parried by this instead of anything else.
Oh, so I decided to go to my meta. They get Machamp in. So I didn't stay in.
So let's see. That means that they were willing to take. Wait, did they throw up a wish and then leave Jirachi not getting the wish?
That's a good question. They wished. We sit here, and yeah, I think. Is that kind of crazy?
Oh.
Like, is that insane? Yes, they just didn't wish the Jirachi. I guess they were
Okay.
trying to bring the Machamp in, and if it gets T-bolted, it gets healed on the switch in.
Yeah, that is exactly what they were doing. That's insane, but okay. If anything, you should heal up the Skarm so that you can get. I mean, obviously, you're not going to bring a Skarm into Zapdos, but like, if you're gonna do this, you should probably just protect with the Jirachi. But okay, maybe they want momentum because Machamp is faster than Paralyzed Zap, and it can Paraflinch it with Rock Slide. So
Right.
you're pretty favored in that matchup. Oh boy, we're in a great spot here though, because Metagross should outspeed most Machamps, and I don't think there is any amount of HP Machamp can run without defense investment that survives a Meteor Mash. My head calc is not perfect,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna bet that.
So I have this like calc dex, like installation, like extension is the word I'm looking for, an extension that like integrates into Showdown, and on the side, it like automatically. Do you use this at all? Are you familiar with this?
I don't. I trust my gut, and then if I ever need to calc something, I open a new tab, and
Right.
it's slow, and it makes me feel really bad
And maybe
because
it's
I'm
not
like,
always
oh god, how
correct.
much time do I have left?
Yeah, I don't
There's-
remember my
there's a
thought
moment.
process. We'll what am I saying here? Because I don't remember. What can this thing do to me? Cross drop gets me. I'm guessing you can't hear. So yeah, cross drop just gets.
No,
me.
I can hear you. I can hear the video.
Okay, great.
This
is awkward.
So, cross chop gets you, but you're faster than it, and
I don't
think you.
I thought I was faster, for whatever reason, and maybe that just comes down to experience.
Yeah.
But like I
there-
hover
you-
over it, I see the max speed, and like I guess I don't know enough about Machamp to know how many speed EVs it runs, and I guess that's a lot of like barrier to entry to really engage with this metagame. Is I need to understand all the OU and UUBL threats and their common speed tiers.
Right. So here's a good thing. I think at some point in one of your videos were looking at Metagross, and you were like 262 speed, and it clicked agility. Okay, but it's not going to be 262 speed.
Right, because it doesn't need to invest in speed. It just needs to have enough to outspeed Arrow after agility.
Arrow. And so that means that 198 is the correct number. 198. So if you can hit 198, that's a pretty good benchmark. If you can get to like 200, if you can just get a little past that for some breathing room, maybe like 200, that's probably pretty decent. Machamp, I think, needs to go jolly to get to 200. So I'd be very surprised at a speed invested Machamp. And you can kind of get the feel for this sort of thing by looking at the Pokemon, hovering over it, and being like, oh, its max speed when invested in a plus speed nature is only 240.
Right.
Machamp is somewhere there. So I'm not scared. I'm not scared of this thing being fast. I'm clicking Meteor Mash. Let's go. Let's get it.
Okay. And I don't think that's what I did. I'm pretty sure I
You
go
could play
for the cross drop and miss. Or I
The other
talked to
option
myself,
is
we go back
Zapdos.
Zapdos.
Cross chop this.
This thing could have rock
just
slap
not bad.
Zapdos.
Not at all a bad click to go Zapdos, because pressure, Cross Chop only has 8 PP, and pressure can take 2 of those.
Right.
So
And that's exactly what
outspeeding
ends up
us.
happening here. I really don't know how I'm supposed to play this team. Like, at all. I really don't know how to play this team. I really don't know how I'm supposed to play this team. Shit. Like, at all. Yeah, I think I have to go back Zap. It goes Zap. They do go for the cross chop. We resist it, but it still does
look at our
It's an
Zapdos.
outside
Look at
now.
our Zapdos taking
Yeah, I think we just gotta
41
let the
from a
Zap go.
banded Cross Chop.
Oh,
That's that
it
defense
could be-
EVs. That's
probably
that
just twice.
48
We get
HP,
full
104
twice.
defense.
That sucks. And I'm just like desperately trying to get some chip on this thing, completely unable to do so. It never gets to click a single button. Like, just you
Now?
hate to see that kind of thing.
So I agree, you hate to see it. Now, oh boy, we're cooking with gas. Because if you counted, that was 4 Cross Chops.
Yeah, so it's
3 hit, 1 miss. It's got nothing left. Kingdra's about to go hard in the paint.
You go Kingdra here, like
We
Okay.
got 3 Rain Dance, right?
yeah. I
'Cause
guess,
it
like-
has to struggle.
Could they ever have T-Tar in the back and Blissey just like straight walls me? I guess are the two thoughts I have.
If they have a Blissey, you need to get it revealed ASAP.
Fair enough. Okay.
You-
Put pressure on them
Oh.
to reveal that they have Blissey, so I can plan around that and understand, like, what on my team I need to keep healthy until I'm able to take the Blissey down.
Let me tell you something. If you see Blissey and Tyranitar, and you see its Pursuit Tyranitar even, you're like, oh, okay, cool. So Meteor Mash outspeeds their entire team and OHKOs their entire team from the range. All right. I
Okay.
like those odds.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. So I go Kingdra. It has a free turn to set up, and if he has things that are weak to my meta, he's forced to reveal them, which will be a good thing. I think I end up going Heracross.
I don't hate this because we are going to need to get Hera to come into spikes a second time later. Oh, Salamence.
This is
Oh.
like the worst possible
We're-
thing, right?
This is the worst possible thing for Heracross to see, but it's so good that we saw it early. Because if we went for the Heracross sweep with the Salamence unrevealed, all hell's going to break loose.
Right. And so here I am in front of this Salamence. I have the calc off to the side, and it's telling me that Reversal from this range is like an 8-hit KO, and Megahorn is like a 4 million hit KO. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
like,
Reversal,
go ahead.
yeah. Reversal, you can't click Reversal unless you're at like 5% health or lower.
Right.
Because it's like Flail, right? It does more damage as you get lower.
Right.
You might okay. So let me do a little Pokemon pop quiz. So you know how much base power Megahorn has, right?
120.
How much do you think Reversal has when you have 1% health?
I think it's 200.
It is 200. Do you know how much it is when it's? I think it's 5%. No, it's like I think it's as high as like 8%.
At 8%, I mean, I would imagine that it's still at least like 95 or like a serviceable
like-
fighting move.
It's like 150.
Oh shit. Okay.
So you get low and you smack some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So your general assumption with Heracross is that if it's at 1 health, it's killing anything, unless it is exactly like a Salamence.
Yeah.
But here,
yeah.
where we've revealed Substitute, they haven't revealed what Salamence they are. But if they start Dragon Dancing, we are in a spot of trouble.
That's what I thought. And I'm like, okay, like I have a sub up, so I could take like quote unquote free damage, but it's so low value. Like I'm dealing such little damage. And if this thing has DD, I don't want to let it get out of hand. So my thought
Exactly.
process is I need to switch immediately in case this thing is going to try to set up. And there's somebody who just posted a comment on this literal very video, like basically calling me a dumbass for not taking the free damage and for being like overly afraid of Dragon Dance. And when they said that, they said it with such conviction. You know, I was like, am I a dumbass? Like, am I too afraid of Dragon Dance? Like, what do you think in this spot?
Here, so okay. Here, we're in a really weird spot. There are too many unrevealed Pokemon to go for Heracross right now. In theory, you can. In theory, what you do here, if you want to just gun it for Heracross, is you click Substitute blind to see if they're like a DD Salamence or not. And if they're not, then you're like, okay, well, I know that now. Information gained.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are going to just assume that there's no T-Tar in the back and that Salamence is exactly Dragon Dance, then you can actually like SD up to +6 on the, or SD up at least once,
Yeah.
and then substitute down into Lychee or into a Salic range,
Right.
and then you get Swarm boosted Megahorns, and you're behind a sub and you're faster than it, and Megahorn does a ton. But here, Benji, I'm clicking Snorlax every day of my life. Like
Yeah.
every day of my life.
And I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Because I recognize, like, listen, like, Snorlax is healthy, it has Boom. I can curse up if it's Dragon Dancing. And I think that's what happens. Oh, no, it just Rock Slides me. Okay.
Okay, wait a second.
Okay.
Let's pause here.
Sure.
Now, I have the weirdest Snorlax you've seen in your life. No one's ever seen, like, a Snorlax that's this stupid. That's this badly... this badly built.
Right.
But it's 252 defense and 64 HP. So, like, is that Rock Slide really supposed to do 23?
So
is
you're
that
wondering
like
if this
adamant?
So you're thinking adamant? You're not wondering, like, it wouldn't be banned? I don't think it is, because I think it breaks me later.
I don't think this is banned. My gut instinct is that's not a banned rule. But again, I would check calc here. If this was like, if I was worried about, you know, rating anxiety and I really didn't want to lose, I'd check which version of Mence this is.
Yeah, and yeah, so like almost 23%. The vibes feel off. Like that's not just like that's not jolly, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's jolly. I'd bet a certain dollar in my stack. I don't know if it'd be my bottom dollar or somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
But I'd bet $1 that that's not jolly.
Okay.
So let's curse. And in fact, curse is awesome because if they switch into something like Jirachi, we'll be able to pummel it with like curse boosted Shadow Balls. It is Dragon Dance. It was adamant, and now it's terrified. Now it's like, oh crap. This is for some reason a really bulky Snorlax that doesn't have freaking leftovers. I don't know what's going on.
So it was when leftovers wasn't revealed, to you that represents like Bandit Snorlax or like
that's
am I representing in your opinion?
Non-leftover Snorlax like literally doesn't exist. And if it is not leftover Snorlax, it has exactly 2 options, and they're both weird and kind of terrible. You are either threatening Choice Band, which is intended to explode on Skarmory on the switch to enable Metagross,
right?
Or you are the other all I do is win Snorlax Classic, Hovet, which is like Thief, where you steal the item, and you're not trying to beat Skarmory by beating it down or by killing it in one hit. You're trying to steal its item and then just chip it down without the ability for it to chip heal with like Protect. Like Protect is just a worthless move on it now.
Wait, Snorlax has a move in Gen 3 called Covet that's literally Thief?
Yeah, it steals the item if you don't have one.
I didn't know that. What does anything else relevant get Covet?
Probably like Linoon, like some normal types. I bet normal types get it.
Okay. Does Miltank get Covet?
Item stealing Miltank.
We'll get back to Miltank later, but we're here. We've cursed up without an item, and they're terrified, right?
They ought to be, but also they can't switch anything in because everything is going to get absolutely eviscerated. Like YOLO Skarm cannot switch into a normal move here. Jirachi cannot switch into a normal move plus coverage here, or even just normal move plus bad coverage. Like Return twice should kill it at +1. because they didn't get that wish.
Right.
If this is an offensive Snorlax. And we also know that this Mence is maybe the only thing standing between Heracross and ending the game.
Right.
So I'm ready to click Shadow Ball because I don't think there's anything that it can threaten a 2-hit KO on me from here. Because remember that Rock Slide only did
like
23%,
and now we have a defense stack. But they have an attack.
Yeah,
stack
they have an attack stat to counter it. So it, like HP Flying does a little bit less than 50% more than that, so it'll do like 30, 31. Maybe I'm risking it a little bit. You could argue just Boom. You could also argue Curse to guarantee that it doesn't 2-hit KO you. But yeah, Boom is good. Boom gets something.
Yeah, if we curse a second time and then Shadow Ball, we're taking an extra hit afterwards, and then we get revenged by something. But I think if we Shadow Ball here, and the calc told me it was a guaranteed 1-hit KO from this range. Given that, then we have more health, and I think we're a lot more likely to be able to get an ensuing Boom. So I think I do click Shadow Ball here, and we'll find out.
That doesn't sound right. Shadow Ball shouldn't be a guaranteed KO against Salamence.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I do curse a second time. God is gracious in the chat asking, is this 1100? This is around 1300, so yeah, basically. He Rock Slides, doesn't get the... Oh, he does get the flinch. So I just
now we have to Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, and I barely live. And this is after getting terrible Paraluck. Like, awful Paraluck.
Yeah, but look at the Snorlax putting in the work. Because that was a +1 Salamence clicking Brick Break, and it only did 43.
Yeah, it hung on by the skin of its teeth, and was able to at least trade with possibly the most difficult Mon to get through in order to enable this this Heracross.
Yeah, so now what we're thinking is Metagross is terrifying, and Heracross is terrifying.
Okay, so given that... Oh, Shit, I wish I had like an undo button. Let's see. I'll find this again. Brick Break. And I just saw what happens, and what ends up happening goes very well for us, but I don't know that it was the right decision. So, talk to me about what your thought process is. You just identified Meta and Hera go insanely hard. If I did this over again, I might just go Meta and just start mashing again. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, that sounds right. Meta can just mash. There's an argument for Kingdra here, interestingly.
Okay.
There's an argument for Kingdra to set up Rain and then start doing stuff.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that doesn't make any... Excuse me, my bad.
Yeah, no problem,
I think
brother.
the only thing that really doesn't make any sense here is Electrode.
And that's exactly what we do.
No.
I'm talking myself through it. I'm like, let's catch him off guard. Catch him off guard. Oh, he goes Scar. I said it the same
exact you got him! You got him!
I caught his ass, bro. I caught his ass. I'm like that.
And now you reveal non-leftovers Electrode after non-leftovers Snorlax. And he's like, what is happening?
Yeah, literally what is happening. And I'm thinking through, and I'm like, nothing likes coming in on a Thunderbolt right now. Like, I'm going to 2-hit KO, like, I don't know if I 2-hit KO the Machamp. I imagine I do. But, like, what the hell is he going to do in this spot? I'm clicking Thunderbolt.
He's going to reveal
Thunderbolt.
Something. Exactly.
I suspect
he either sacks it, or he's going to reveal something that loses to... Oh! Give it to me. Give it to me.
And that's YOLO Skarm, because, like, Spadef Skarm... Could it...
No, Spadef Skarm dies from 60. From 60, it's got no hope against Magnet Electrode.
It was at 70.
Oh, 70?
But either way. I mean... Technically, we knew... Maybe. I didn't know shit, but we should have known it was YOLO Skarm at that point anyway. But I'm clicking Thunderbolt. We've eliminated the Skarm. There's one spike for the rest of the game. He does reveal T-Tar.
Oh, it is a T-Tar. That means... Okay, so our estimate of Heracross being terrifying is a little bit off now.
True. True.
So what I'm thinking here is if we Rain Dance, then Kingdra's about to go Banana Pants. Kingdra's about to do some unholy things to the remaining teammates.
I guess I was worried because... So if I go Kingdra, if this thing DDs right now, and I go Kingdra, and then I Rain Dance on a second DD, I outspeed, right?
Yeah, but actually I meant Rain Dance with Electrode.
Oh, okay, Rain Dance with Electrode, and then like blow up to deny its action, bring in Kingdra.
Second DD. Yeah.
Okay.
So this Kingdra is actually faster than Tyranitar normally.
Right.
So at +2 versus +2, Kingdra is faster.
True.
Rain Dance is just the safest one because, yeah, I think that sort of is makes sense. Is that Rain Dance, so that if it does Earthquake, you get 4 turns of rain with Kingdra to kill potentially 2 Pokemon.
Yeah, and if he wants to switch out to then eventually bring the T-Tar back in, something has to take a huge surf, and then something else is taking at least 1 more huge surf, unless the T-Tar comes in. But then it's like in front of
T-Tar against a Kingdra.
Exactly. And I did click Rain Dance. Okay.
And let's boom. Okay, so here's the thing. So we could boom here, but the greedy play, and I think I'm usually in favor of the greedy play in this situation because we're tied 4-4 and we have an explosion. We have 2 explosions, so keeping the Electrode around is kind of nice. Because if the last is something like an arrow, we like having Electrode hanging around in the back.
True.
And +1 like Earthquake against Kingdra isn't gonna kill. So we can come in with Kingdra and we can surf.
Just hard go Kingdra.
Yeah.
I don't think I do. I think I might even. I look at Hidden Power and Explosion, and I think I realize that HP Grass is a bit more, and I think that's what I click.
Wow,
I don't remember.
That's crazy.
It's wild. I'm not. I may be misremembering this.
But actually, we should never click HP Grass. Because if we click HP Grass and it lives,
if it wants,
it lets it DD again.
And then it would outspeed Electrode, right?
It would.
Okay. I clicked T-Bolt. Oh, no. T-Bolt actually did more than HP Grass, which did more than Explosion. I think.
Brutal.
Again, I could be wrong on that. It did decide to Earthquake.
We have turns. We have turns with Rain, though. And if they ever give up T-Tar, and they're kind of incentivized to give up T-Tar, because Heracross is going to outspeed it and kill it, and Kingdra is going to outspeed it and kill it. So they don't have. I mean, obviously, they want to be able to keep Sand up, but.
Oh yeah, he goes Starmie. I get a crit. It goes down to 2%.
So I'm pretty sure, if my recollection serves, that Surf into HP Electric does get the kill, because Surf is resisted and does like 95, 190, or no, 95 to 142.5 times. So it's like 220-ish base power. So divide that by 2 is 110 base power,
yeah.
And it did 42. And Hidden Power Electric has 140 base power, so it's going to do like a third more than Surf did. So we 2-hit KO anyway.
So you're saying the crit didn't matter?
It does matter, because now we get to click Surf instead of having to click Hidden Power Electric. Right. But we probably would have killed the Starmie, which would have been nice.
And
we get T-Tar with Surf, and the game is over.
Well, you would think
not
so.
Not technically. But if we click Rain Dance here, we're in great shape.
And well, you know what, you say that, and that's exactly what we do. And this thing, he games the Serpent Zero. I gotta hand it to him. I even said, like, there's no way you wouldn't Focus Punch by Rain Dance, like, surely, and they simply do. We get the Rain Dance up, it supposedly empowering the Heracross. I make a crucial error, in a few moments. Not believing for some reason that eventually the Hera would be able to outspeed the Starmie with a Salic Berry.
Oh.
I don't know how I convinced myself it was going to be slower, but
here's something interesting. Remember how earlier I was mentioning that a team that doesn't like give you positive feedback when you make good moves is a bad team, or at least a bad team for you at the moment?
Sure, yeah, I remember you said that, yes.
This Machamp, would you call it a good move that they read your substitute with Focus Punch and stay in?
That's a good question. If they know I'm substituting, I suppose not, because, again, the correct play for me, like, I'm always substituting. But I guess the question is, like, if they know I'm subbing down to Salic and I'm going for the reversal, like, isn't the game just over? Like, they don't have any outs, do they?
So they have, like, half of an out. They don't have a real out, but they have, like, a real stupid, silly one. Where they can go to Jirachi, break on the sub, and you're not in reversal range yet, so they can pray for Mega Horn misses.
Right. Right. So so basically a good player will effectively always pick that line. And this player didn't. They stayed in with the focus punch. And I got in my own head, didn't recognize I just had a win condition by getting the Salak and reversaling everything.
Yeah. So the reason why this focus punch though, can we finish playing real quick?
Yeah, sure.
With the turn. The reason why that focus punch is the one that loses the game, that changes this from a 90% win probability to 100% win probability, is because it gives you the opportunity to get one more sub. If you still had a sub up, sub would fail.
Because
and
I'm faster
you wouldn't
than
be able
Jirachi.
to get down to 1 HP. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe my mistake was I thought I was slower than the Jirachi. It wasn't the Starmie. It was without Salak. I think that's what I thought. I'm slower than Jirachi. Or I don't... What the hell happened? Let's unmute myself. Is not doing enough. Starmie, I recognize I don't have a kill on the champ. Speeds after a Salak? Nope. And I'm talking about... Oh, Starmie outspeeds after a Salak? So I think I convinced myself I need to somehow go Metagross or something?
That sounds to me like listening to chat and saying that they're wrong, though. Right? Like, the way I heard you say that, I thought you were saying you were reading chat, and they said, Starmie outspeeds, and you were like, no way does it.
I was surprised, but the problem is a lot of people that often join my chat, like, they are more experienced than me, so I tend to believe them. And maybe that's a mistake.
Okay.
But now I've eliminated the Starmie. But again, now I think Jirachi comes in. Oh, it does outspeed. But that's okay. This thing outspeeds me, but I can leave and then come back on the spike, and then I get Salak.
Yeah, that's such a shame. Yeah. So here's the thing: when we hover over this, we reveal
its potential
body slam. We reveal body slam, fire punch, wish protect. Correct?
Yeah.
If we go to smogon.com right now, like if you open up a new tab and look up Jirachi ADV, I think the first set that shows up is going to be not just those 4 moves, but those 4 moves in the exact order that they're shown. Okay, no, it's Calm Mind, is the first one.
Defensive, and then
wish protect, fire punch, body slam.
No speed EVs whatsoever.
So this is a moment of like, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer that we like didn't have the experience to know that off the top. But
it's part of it. It's part of the journey.
It's part of the journey, and we could have checked. We could have.
True.
Timer wasn't on.
I don't like it. The biggest mistake here was me just seeing Jirachi's potential fastest speed and assuming that it just is. Because I'm not clued in enough on like the team building and the speed tier, speed creeping. Like I don't know what kind of EVs a defensive Jirachi goes for, and you know what it's happy to be faster than and what it's happy to be slower than. Superachi is, you know,
always
sometimes timid and max speed and, you know, trying to get to that. I mean, it has 100 base speed EVs, right? So it ties things like Charizard, Flygon, Zapdos, all those base 100s, and it wants to at least speed tie those, right? But this isn't that, and it's accepting that it's slower, but it's defensive and it's passive, and you can't get through it. It's a wall, right?
Mm-hmm. But really, I don't think the issue with this game was that we make the wrong play here. I think the issue is that we don't click sub a couple turns ago. That was the turn where if we click sub after they focus punch and we get down to 1 HP, the game's over. We have 100% accurate moves.
But I won't be able to sub down
every single remaining.
Right, yeah, the reversal just wins everything. And here, I go to meta, sack the meta, come back in on spike, but I then can't sub, and I'm not low enough % health such that reversal actually kills anything.
Oh, body slam. That's very smart of them to body slam. Because fire punch doesn't actually KO Heracross from that range.
Yeah, and the rain. Right.
Yeah, the rain. Isn't that such a cool interaction?
Yeah, that is an interesting interaction. And, you know, maybe they're really smart, maybe they just had a count.
We had a chance. Oh, even then we had a chance, I think.
a chance to do what?
So they went for Wish. So
Yeah.
if you had hard switched Heracross in, you would have gotten hit by spikes, and then you could have switched out and gotten to 1 HP, and then you would have outsped an 8.
Oh, so
KO.
because I'm at 26%, you're saying. So I could have
Yep.
came in and then switched out again, sacked the meta, and then come in on the spike a third total time.
Yeah, because you don't need the Salad Berry. You just need to be HP so that you're
Right, but I thought I did. And now
Yep.
I need a reversal crit. And yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of things I could have done differently, but
At 12%, I feel like Reversal doesn't even do it maybe does 100 base power, is my guess. That sounds right. So like crit wins.
Yeah.
Nothing
And
really to play around.
spoiler, we sadly
Oh, it's only 80. It's
Yeah.
only 80. That's
only
tough.
80 power. Damn, we gave it an honest effort. And this one, I think I blew up the Metagross on a Suicune or something.
No, it looks like you double edge it. Oh yeah, you double edge it, and then Magneton comes in
Right.
and traps you.
Right. Okay, so I kill it. We get trapped by Mag. And so now, like, they've shown lead Medi Mag, so I'm thinking like Fizz off. I'm thinking, you know, there could be like a Salamence, a T-Tar, an Arrow, those kind of things in the back.
You know what that sounds like to me?
That
That sounds like Electrode food. That sounds like Electrode food.
You're telling me to go Electrode right now?
No, I'm telling you to save it for the end game to win because
sure.
Arrow gets outsped KO'd. If Medi takes any chip, it's in danger. If Salamence takes any chip, it's in danger. If it's Guerra in the back as the sweeper, that thing's toast. If it's Metagross in the back as a sweeper, you can revenge kill it with +2, or you can revenge kill it at +2 as Electrode if it's low enough. Doesn't sound so bad. But I mean, Snorlax here. Got to be Snorlax here, I think. Maybe Heracross.
I'm pretty sure
You
I
could
do
maybe
go
argue
Lax.
Heracross.
We go Lax, we curse up. They go to
Oh, it's Rain.
Yeah, it's somehow Rain.
Let me tell you something. Our Rain matchup is goated. Because Kingdra outspeeds all of the Rain threats, including opposing Kingdra, because none of the opposing Kingdra are running like enough speed to outspeed Tyranitar in the Rain.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, we got to curse up to get enough power to... Oh, okay. So it's meta. Okay, let's pause here. Let's pause and think.
I cursed the second time. And
So
I was pretty sure that they were going to boom. I was like 100% sure. I make a joke about how this is like more booming than anything has ever boomed in its entire life.
But let me tell you something. If so, this doesn't look like Band Metagross to me. It does not. Because if you have Metacham to punish Blissey, it's sort of over the top to also have what's his name? Metagross Choice Band to punish Blissey. And you have Magneton for the Skarm, so the Choice Band is perhaps a little bit excessive at that point. This doesn't look like Choice Band Metagross to me. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not.
If they boom on this Snorlax, they're going to be for a rude awakening for how bulky 252 defense, 64 HP Snorlax is at +2. Right. So I'm staying in and cursing.
I'm pretty sure I am switching to that ghost type in this spot 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 because you know this guy is exploding. I was pretty sure he was going to more exploding than anybody's ever been exploding in their lives. Do I just curse again? Do I just curse again? I'm going to get some chip and probably just die to explosion. We actually lived the explosion.
Not even close. Not even close.
Yeah. So we're at 38. Crazy. No leftovers. We stay. And we chip heal up. And of course they go Medi. But the problem is, and maybe maybe my calc was assuming Choice Band, but I'm pretty sure I saw that they had a kill from this range.
So does this show your calc in the video?
We can't see my calc in the video, but my calc can see my team's EVs and sets.
Oh, it can.
And yeah, but I have to guess the opponent's set. So I think I was assuming this was Choice Band, but then later,
as you should.
Right. So So I don't know if I like click self-destruct and like end up dying to a brick break. I actually don't remember what happened.
I would go Zap. I would go Zap because I think that against this team, you've probably got at least one Pokemon that you're going to get an opportunity to boom on with Lax. So I'd
True.
go Zap.
With this much health, like as long as it gets in on something that isn't Medi, like there's
Yeah.
like Magneton can't deny boom. Like Ludi's not going to be able to stop me from booming.
Rudy cannot deny you from boom.
If we know that
Mag might.
the brick break is coming, if we know he just goes
Because remember,
Zapdos.
this is zero special
last
defense Snorlax.
I go Zap on the brick break.
Wait, what the hell? That did nothing.
Right. So it's not choice band, and I could have noticed it then. I didn't.
It cannot be choice band.
And I'm about to get rock slid, and it's gonna be faster than me. So I try to sub because I think it's choice band, and it outspeeds and rock slides me, and then my sub ends up failing.
Yeah.
So I just
right
need
here,
to count
I
it.
think. Yeah, right here, I think. Again, because I have the sort of like internal.
You have the vibes.
The vibes of the team because I've used it so much.
Yeah.
I know that my Zapdos is guaranteed to survive +1 Salamence Rock Slide. It never gets KO'd. It's 100% to live.
That's crazy.
It's flinched or crit, but we're gonna pretend like that can't happen.
Yeah.
They can miss too. So I know in my heart that Metacham Brick Break should be doing like, let's see, maybe like 40, because it should be adamant choice band. So maybe like 40 range, but maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So immediately I'm thinking there's something a little bit silly about that. But then even after seeing that it isn't choice band, I might even be able to see, hey, wait a second, that did so little. It doesn't even break sub. Maybe you can find out that it's Jolly. But yeah, T-bolting this thing would have been a godsend.
Yeah, and we don't do it. I try to click the sub, and we go down to 20%. Sub fails.
Look at it. Look at it. Oh, man, you almost had enough health to still get the sub, despite everything.
After leftovers, we went down to 20%. So it wasn't...
But like that's only like 5% away. And
yeah.
that means that like a low roll, we probably could have still gotten the sub.
Yeah, there could have been rolls, which would have been so sick. But sadly, this is where we are. And given all of this, I don't remember what I do. I might just give up the Zapdos. And I'm not sure looking back if that was even correct.
I think, yeah. I mean, in this instance, especially if I had just forgotten to calc the zap damage, I think I'd just be so sad that I just give Zapdos up.
And I'm pretty sure that's what
I'm not a computer. I can't just make the objective play every turn. Sometimes you're just gonna be sad.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those moments. We click T-Bolt in case of any like shenanigans. Oh, I guess I was also playing a Rock Slide miss. So, I mean, in your opinion, like, would sub have been superior? Because if I sub, he could decide, I'm actually going to save the Medi health, and he could take the Thunderbolt on, like, Mag or something. So maybe it's like, no, get the Thunderbolt damage on Medi, like, immediately.
Are we talking about when... Sorry, are we talking about now that Electrode is in?
No, last turn, assuming Rock Slide miss here, because it had to Rock Slide, it had no other move that actually killed from this range. I'm at 26.
Right.
If it misses, I could sub, right? But then he could decide, I don't want to take the T-Bolt on Medi, I'm going Mag. So here, if you're playing to the Rock Slide miss or happy to like give the Zap up, do you think it's superior to just Thunderbolt so he has to take the damage here?
I absolutely agree with that.
Okay. That makes sense to me too. ADV
if you're not gonna click T-Bolt in favor of really gambling on the miss, the only thing I think you can argue is agility.
Sure. Yeah. I could see that. Okay. Well, we got Electrode in on this Medi, and
I'm a little bit surprised. I was thinking Kingdra.
Yeah. Well, I guess like I go Kingdra, and like if I decide to try to Rain Dance, like what if it Focus Punches? If I just surf...
Oh, we're a little bit nervous from the previous one.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm traumatized from the Machamp, like owning my soul and Focus Punching my Rain Dance. But you're saying, dude, just go Kingdra and Rain Dance, and he's gonna get owned.
Yeah, and if he focus punches, he focus punches, but like that actually has a little sneaky advantage that we can get into later. Um,
Okay.
and then we'll just go like Electrode and Explode or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what I do initially. And I don't think it's going to work out well for us. He goes to the Mag on our Explosion. And the
I
reason
think we
is
win. I think the game's over. I think we win.
and sadly, spoiler alert, we're going to lose this game as well. And I don't even remember how it happens. But like
So
you
we
were
know
discussing.
our Heracross is faster than Magneton. The only thing we have to worry about is Quick Claw, which is sometimes run on Magneton because Magneton players are bad people who run Quick Claw and they're trying to hurt your feelings. I love you, Magneton players. I love anybody who's playing to sell out to beat Skarm.
So it's Hera here all the time for you.
Hera here all the time for me. I'm gonna sub down
Just
to Salak.
Mm-hmm.
And Megahorn Oko's Megahorn is required to Oko Medi though, but everything else is gonna die. Oh yeah, we do have to surf the Magneton though. We can't rain dance on the Magneton.
Is it because of the Parachance?
It's because we're faster than it anyway, so we just take the kill and we'll rain dance later.
Yeah.
Right. Like we could either it's like worst case scenario on that is that they switch into Ludicolo, and then I'm fine. Like it doesn't take anything from Surf, but we would have been in the same position if we had Rain Dance. They would have switched into Ludicolo, and then we'd be ice beaming each other forever. Right. So Surf is the play here to take the Magneton.
Yeah, and of course, sadly, I don't do so. I am so heavily punished, and it's able to 2-hit KO me with the Thunderbolts.
But we still have the win. It is still game over. Is the beautiful part.
And dude, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't know how to pilot Hera. But I'll tell you my thought process. It was a shitty one, but somehow I told myself, okay, I'm swords dancing. This thing is
surviving the Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah, we're gonna survive the Thunderbolt, and it either puts me into Salak range, or I can sub down into Salak range, and then reversal's insane. Either way, I'm chill. I'm chilling.
Yeah, not a bad thought process. What you did has, let's call it a 83% win probability, because you lose if you get para'd 10%, and you lose if you get crit 6%.
Right.
Substitute gives you a, let's call it 85% win probability, because you're going to have to hit a Megahorn on a Metagem.
Right, and we also don't know what's last.
True. But we do know that it's not a Tyranitar, because there's no way you're running Ludicolo and Suicune on a T-Tar team. That's crazy.
That's fair. Could it ever be like DD Ments though?
Salamence?
Alongside Mag?
Alongside Mag, DD. I'm gonna say unlikely. I'm gonna say that if I had to bet my bottom dollar, I'm like, look at this team. Let's close our eyes.
Yeah.
Let's not close our eyes, because we're gonna look at the team. So I'm a complete idiot for saying that. Let's open our eyes.
All right.
Chat, if you closed your eyes, please undo that. We have a Rain Dance Sweeper in Ludicolo. We have a Pokemon that brutally punishes Blissey. We have a Pokemon that traps Skarm. We have a Pokemon that no. Okay, I'm gonna pull us even farther back. We have a Metacham that does not have Choice Band.
Okay.
What Metacham doesn't have Choice Band? A Lum Metacham. Why would we ever run Lum Metacham? Because we want to bait Gengar in, take the Will-O-Wisp, heal, and kill it with Shadow Ball. That's why we run Metacham with Lum. So we're running a Metacham that beats Gengar. We're running a Magneton that kills Skarmory. We're running a Ludicolo that clears weather, and we're running a Suicune. If that last Mon isn't Snorlax after all of that support, Jack King should be like, I mean, they must be a subscriber of BKC and think that Snorlax is just the worst Pokemon ever.
So true.
There's simply no way that with Rain's Weather Clear support, Gengar support, Skarm support, that this is not Snorlax last.
Like if ever
I mean,
it should be Snorlax, it's now. That's a
never
fair
it should
point.
be Snorlax. It's right now because what am I doing if this team plays against a Zapdos? Like a let's say modest max speed, just to be really scary.
Yeah.
Suicune, O-Code. Metagross can't touch it. Pretty cooked. Gets outsped, doesn't OHKO with Rock Slide. Ludicolo outspeeds it in the rain, gets 2-hit KO'd by Thunderbolt though, so it gets hit on the rain turn and then it switches out and it just did 0 damage. Magneton is your answer to Zapdos Magneton? Buddy boy. Wrong bird. The last Mon has to be a specially defensive Pokemon, and it's got to be a specially defensive Pokemon that benefits from Storm being dead. To be fair, that's every Pokemon in the entire tier. From Weather being gone, to be fair, that's all of the non-steel ground rock types in the tier.
Yeah.
And Appreciate Gengar being gone. Oh, now isn't that interesting? Most special walls are very happy to deal with Gengar. Regice ice beams it into next week. Lissy, like thunder waves it. Celebi, psychics it. So why do we need to get rid of Gengar? It's only if that last thing appreciates it, and it's got to be a special wall. And if ever there was a lax, it was there. Is my opinion.
I like that opinion. I think that's a good opinion. Like, but
I'm
like,
clicking sub every day.
I feel like I am like so many hundreds of hours away from being able to process all that and come to that conclusion. Like when you say it, it makes so much sense. But like just looking at this structure and not just the Pokemon, but like the sets themselves, recognizing it's not Choice Band Medi, it's Jolly. What does that mean? What kind of Pokemon specifically is Jolly Medi designed to deal with that Choice Band would be less inclined? And like looking at the cross sections of all of the evidence and then saying it was Snorlax in the parlor with the hatchet. Like that's like
with
black
Snorlax
magic fuckery, bro.
with the curse in the back.
In the rain.
In the back. In the rain.
That's so fucking
You
true.
know, actually I've run a Snorlax team before that had not rain dance but sunny day support specifically so that it didn't have as much of a difficult time against offensive Suicune. So like different weather support for Snorlax, it can go crazy. There's some real janky stuff. But considering that I'm betting my bottom dollar, I was worried about which dollar I was betting before. I'm not worried. That's Snorlax. So reversal, ending it. I'm willing to accept an 85% chance to hit Megahorn, and I'm willing to accept the fact that Lum Metacham is not going to be freaking fake out.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that we just can't win. We can't get a single thing to go our way.
Yeah, we got a brick break here.
We got crit. Oh, I just forfeited.
Oh yeah, sure, understandable. I mean, we can't win.
We don't have an out, right?
We don't have an out. We can't win, but I mean, I usually like to get the last kill before I quit.
Oh, you know, I kind of like that. I'm gonna start doing that. There's one more match, and we actually win it. I make one of the most inexplicable plays of all time, and then I mean, we can just run it. I don't think there's as much to learn from this one, but we can see what happens. It's obviously we're still
actually, if I remember correctly, I think there is something to learn from this.
Great. Okay, well let's learn. I talking myself through this. I'm like, this is literally why Double Edge is here. I'm clicking the button that says Double Edge, and
let's click it. God, did this OHKO?
It doesn't. It gets damn close though.
Ooh, hold that to your chest.
Yeah, but now I'm in earthquake range, right?
Oh yeah, but who cares? He can only pick earthquake, and we have not just a ground immune. We have a ground immune that doesn't even get OHKO'd by plus one
HP rock.
Well, I mean HP rock, sure. It doesn't even get KO'd by +1 Rock Slide Salamence, who is both stronger and clicking a stronger move. So we have zero fear of this.
Okay. Do you know what happens next?
Does he DD again, predicting something?
No. No. I go through that exact thought process. I see the calc on the side of my screen. I'm like, his HP Rock doesn't kill Zapdos. I could simply go Zapdos because he's going to Earthquake right now. He's clicking Earthquake. I know it. I'm going Zapdos. And then when he clicks HP Rock, it doesn't kill me. I kill him. My Zapdos is nearly dead. My Metagross is chipped. But we've dealt with the Gara. We can go from there. But then...
I mean, our Zapdos is chipped, but it's healing because there's no sand.
Yeah.
It's still faster than a bunch of stuff.
True.
It's like, that Zapdos is still... It's not a sack fodder. It's a Zapdos.
Yeah, I can still do things. That's so true. But here's what it all went wrong. I look at Electrode, and I'm like, well, Electrode, much like Zapdos, it's an electric type, but unlike Zapdos, it actually outspeeds +1 speed Gara. So I can switch Zapdos in, and it's immune to the Earthquake, right? So why don't we just instead work with me here? Why don't we just go Electrode, and then we don't even take any damage. We outspeed. It has a chance to kill. Oh, wait, but we have Electrode. I think he's Earthquaking, right? And surely Electrode would still outspeed this. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, wait. What am I doing? What am I doing, dude? Electrode does not share the same property of Flying type with Zapdos. Sometimes you have a bit of a...
to learn.
I'm sorry?
But an important lesson to learn. Don't think of this as a mistake. This is a lesson learned.
Yeah, now I know what typing Electrode has. This is huge. This just
It also is important to like stop for a second and think about what route we're going down. Right? I think slowing down for even just like 10 more seconds on that turn and we're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in part I was probably still a bit tilted from like all the full paras, like the crits, like my opponents like happening to like, you know, making really good plays, like, you know, focus punching my Rain Dance or various things. I think, yeah, I wasn't thinking clearly. So now I'm like, all right, fuck. And looking back, I'm trying to think, what am I supposed to do? What did I end up doing?
I mean, there's only one play.
There's only one play.
We gotta go Zapdos.
We just go
I guess you could argue. I guess you could maybe argue Kingdra. Oh, actually, very interesting decision. Because this is insanely bulky Snorlax, and after a curse, you might not get 2-hit KO'd. Actually, no, after a curse, you're not getting 2-hit KO'd.
I'm not.
So you can kill it with Shadow Ball, and then maybe you can boom something.
Yeah, dude, just wait until you see what happens. This is fucking insane. So fucking ass. All right, it's at 40%. Shadow Ball can do that much. Oh, you taunted me?
Oh, taunt! Yes!
Nice try, buddy.
Yes!
Man, fuck. It fucking taunts
get
me.
out of here. You think Magneton is coming in on Snorlax? Get out of here.
Watch this.
This is +1 Snorlax,
another
baby.
Magneton. Break has a shot. Thunderbolts me.
Oh,
no para. And I get the roll. It was a roll. It was a favorable roll, but
no way. No way. I'm looking it up. I it's not that I don't believe you, but I don't believe you.
Okay, yeah, like, look, use your team paste and do the calc +1 on standard mag. It told me, I can't remember what the chance was, but it wasn't, and it was favorable, but there was like it might have been like an 87% clip or something. And at this point, I was in a headspace where whatever can go wrong will. So the fact that I both didn't get crit nor full parried and actually got a favorable roll, I was like, okay. Okay, this is
shout
the
out.
game
You're 100% right. It's only 87.5%. I'm too much of a Snorlax believer.
You're like the
You know
you're like the anti-BKC.
You know, actually, I almost entered ADV Revival just to try and get a match against BKC, wherein I bring 3 teams that are all 6-0'd by Snorlax, specifically so that I can just be like, oh, if you had Snorlax here.
That would have been fucking awesome. We got to get you to enter something. We got to get you to get back into the fray. You're too good not to be showcasing your talents, brother.
I don't know about this, but we'll find out.
But we're +1 lax. We're hanging out, and they end up going Arrow.
Okay, so let's pause here. Do you see 131 as your current HP? Am I reading that right?
My current HP.
Yeah. So it
Oh
says,
yes,
what will
yeah,
Snorlax do?
yeah.
Question mark.
It's 131. And again,
So
I had
I've
the
got 1,
calcs
2,
here.
3.
Let's hear. What do I say? No, it's Mega Zubat, everybody. And we threw away our fucking Electrode. The only thing he has that can absolutely kill me is Double Edge. Yeah, Double Edge is the only guaranteed kill. I think there was some rolls on other moves, but I was pretty sure he was
So
gonna
my
Double Edge.
calc says it's not guaranteed.
That Double Edge
My
is not
calc
guaranteed.
says, yeah, my calc says it only is a 30% chance to kill.
Oh.
It's 70% not to kill with Double Edge.
Yeah, perhaps maybe I was looking at it and I was like, the only possible OHKO is Double Edge, meaning he almost certainly is clicking it. Maybe that was why I said what I said.
I thought that I saw here, and this is I might be misremembering. I thought I saw you switch tabs here and go to normal damage calc and calc it, and then use the different Snorlax set. That's what I thought I saw.
Oh, you know what? I might have
in the stream.
There were times in the stream where I went. I did that when I had the Metagross out.
Wait a second. Do you still have the live on your channel?
Do I still what?
Do you still have like the live broadcast of that stream on your channel?
Yeah. Do you want me to pull
Do you want
that
to
up
open that up and just see? Like,
yeah.
I think we can get here really fast.
Yeah, we can. Okay. Live. We'll pull up. Yeah, it was this last night? Or was it 2 nights ago? It was 2 nights ago. Yeah, it was this one.
The one with the Who's That Pokemon Electrode on it. That makes sense that.
Yeah, it makes an insane amount of sense. Medi, Gyarados. Here we go.
There we go.
Electrode. Okay, we're back. What is he gonna click? We have +1 defense. The only thing he has that can absolutely kill me is Double Edge. No,
Wait,
it does.
Is it showing it on the right? No. Damn, my bad.
What if I go meta? It doesn't look like I go. I don't switch tabs. His Double Edge is not doing very much. I'm going meta. I tell myself he's Double Edging. Double Edge me. It rock slided. That's even worse. Nice.
You know what? You know what? I'm pretty sure happened. I think he sees that based on previous damage rolls, this +1 lax doesn't die to Double Edge because I'm pretty sure this isn't choice band Aerodactyl.
Well,
I think it's a sub Lychee.
We're about to find out that you're right. This was not choice band.
Sorry. I don't. My bad. My memory isn't very good.
I mean, dude,
it's not
like
very good.
There was so many different games. I wouldn't expect you to remember every set of every mon I face, but I did not know that at the time, and I didn't pick up on it after the rock slide damage roll. Which again, like I should probably be calculating things more, but like I described earlier, like just time management is already a challenge because of my current processing speed. So like adding in additional tasks and calculating, it's gonna come with time. But I assume that he's locked into rock slide. Nice.
Understandable. Most times Aerodactyls are.
So I'm just mashing. I'm talking about physical offense. It's phys off. He's gonna have a Salamence. He's gonna have a Tyranitar
does Earthquake
or something.
Does Earthquake even die?
I'm mad
for non.
Well, as we find out, no. I'm not.
Oh,
dead.
Baby!
I'm just simply.
Let's go.
It Earthquake.
He's
completely. What? It's like Salic, but like, why wouldn't he sub down to the berry? Maybe he. But like, he's not gonna miscalc that. Like, is that a roll? Did he get like the lowest roll possible? Like, was that just a bad play? What is your read of what the hell just happened?
My guess is something along the lines of like, one, it's a weird team.
Yeah.
So he's playing against a weird team. He just saw Electrode. He doesn't know what's back there.
True. Yeah. He's out of his element.
He might be thinking, okay, this is a roll for the Earthquake. I'm just gonna bet on the roll. He could also be thinking, let's see, what are the other options here? Okay, let's think this through. So with Metagross in on Arrow, Earthquake is maybe a roll to kill. if he subs, he can avoid the mash. He can try and get the mash miss,
Yeah, which would be crazy.
which would be huge. But maybe he's just afraid. Maybe, honestly, I would consider doing the same play if I thought Earthquake was going to kill, because just gunning it for Lychee Aerodactyl into 3 unrevealeds is a little bit aggressive. Because Arrow with Lychee popped is like a really, really scary Pokemon. And if you know what's back there, you can position it to be like, oh, actually, because they still have that, I'm going to save my Lychee Arrow.
Right.
But you can still get some value out of it now with just Earthquaking if you get the kill on meta. And then you can switch out if they have something to switch in.
That makes sense. Maybe it was a roll to kill, and he's like, at this point, I need to just like hedge my bets.
Need some comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
it didn't want to go down to the pinch berry.
We're tied 2-2.
So he brings out T-Tar. And I'm expecting this to outspeed me. And I'm basically... And I'm telling myself, all right, well, like, can meta ever come in and do something again? I mean, like, this is
physical offense. On physical offense, there's 0 chance Metagross is outspeeding anything left, except for Snorlax.
It's really funny you say that. Let's see what happens. What the? I'm so what is happening? It wasn't choice band. I'm like processing. Can this meta ever do anything useful ever again? Will it ever actually be able to like click another button? I don't really think so. I'm gonna let the Metagross go here. Oh, what? We outspeeded. Why did that happen? That's a slow T-Tar. Maybe it's DD-Tar. Oh, and they forfeit. Yes.
I'm gonna pause real quick.
Yeah.
I have no problem with. I'm not trying to like be too hard on like the words we're saying, but if it's Dragon Dance T-Tar, it's more likely to be fast. The only dragon, because you said maybe it's we outsped, maybe it's DD-Tar. Like if it were DD-Tar, it would be more likely for it to be maxed out
because it needs to hit benchmarks with the +1 stack to outspeed certain things.
Exactly. So
that's a good distinction.
There's probably Pursuit Tar, because it came in on a Metagross to try and scare it out, and then was going to Pursuit to kill it anyway.
Oh, so okay.
And also, yeah.
Okay.
And also, if it stays in and is slower, then Pursuit kills regardless. So it was one of those like guaranteed kills, except it wasn't a guaranteed kill because it was slower, and I bet he had something faster. There's no way that physical offense doesn't have something faster than friggin' Pursuit Tar back there.
What else would you expect
if it is a Snorlax
in the back on a structure
Snorlax
like
and
this?
Snorlax and Salamence.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. So Pursuit Tar is here to get rid of Gengar because physical offense hates fighting Willow. Magneton is here because we need to get rid of what? Skarmory, right?
Right.
I don't know about. Oh, okay. And you pick Gyarados as one of the sweepers because you want a good matchup into Swampert, because T-Tar, Mence, and Arrow all struggle into Swampert.
True.
Sure. I'm a little bit confused why you lead with it if you need it for Swampert.
Yeah, that was my thought. Because like lead Swampert's so rare, it's almost always in the back.
Yeah, maybe they're just thinking that they're not gonna sacrifice the arrow. Oh, I take it back. I love this idea. Actually,
on second thought.
Hey, shout out, Christian. Good looking. So what this lead Gyara does is, if it's lead Skarm, it taunts.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't even have to worry about the
toxic spike, roar,
toxic spikes or any of that stuff. And then it can bring the Magneton in later to get the trap. If it's lead Salamence, it gets Intimidate, so it can switch into its own Metagross more easily. Or its own, like, anything more easily. I guess it could be Metagross back there.
Right.
It could be right. Metagross Snorlax. It might not be Mence. That's interesting.
Do you think it's more likely to be Lax meta?
I think it's pretty heavy. It's got to be Lax. But I don't know if the last is going to be meta or Salamence on this, because both are understandable in this structure. But I like the idea of having the lead taunt Gera because you get the Intimidate off on the lead T-Tar and the lead Salamence. So that makes it easy for the other Pokemon to switch in and get momentum.
I know
That's pretty clever.
I want to ask like a general question about like fizz-off structures, because
Don't use them; they're bad. But
Okay.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Fair enough. I'm gonna withhold judgment on structures in general for now, but it's known. This is a heuristic, right? It's like a high level, low resolution concept that like Pokemon like Lax, Blissey, Suicune don't like sand. They'd prefer, or they have an advantage when there is no sand. They have the chip healing that helps their bulk.
I might quibble with Blissey. I might quibble with your assertion of Blissey.
Really?
Blissey does take sand damage, but it often appreciates sand, like not letting its like Blissey's Zap is one of these things that Blissey should win, but if Zap has rest, is like actually an issue. And sand in a lot of these situations is acceptable for Blissey to deal with because Blissey has a one-turn recovery move.
Right. It can
The reason why sand is so bad for Suicune is because it has to click rest.
Right.
The reason why sand is so bad for Snorlax is because it has to click rest. All of these Pokemon that are just like, does Starmie hate sand? No, it loves it because it's chipping these Mons down into Hydro Pump and Thunderbolt range, and it doesn't care that it's getting chipped because it's always healing with Recover. It doesn't have to waste so many turns waking back up.
Okay, that's a important distinction, and I appreciate that. Concerning physical offense, like Tyranitar is here, like from your understanding of this structure and how this game went, you think it's Pursuit Tar because what other Tyranitar would be slower than Metagross? And like we need to get rid of Ghosts to empower like Fizz Off that don't want to have to run like Hidden Power Ghost or something, right?
That and because Fizz Off just loses to the move Will-O-Wisp.
Will-O-Wisp too, true. Like, do you ever on Fizz Off think, well, let's just run like an alternative pursuit user, like an Umbreon, like a Houndoom? Like doesn't Sceptile even get pursuit? So that
Sceptile, so it's not just about getting pursuit; it's about killing Gengar with pursuit. So Sceptile comes in and pursuits and does 45.
Sure, because it's not.
And Gengar is still fine. Yeah.
And like, is Houndoom just like too frail? Because I'm thinking like, if Snorlax is in the back, like, how like meaningful is it that you don't bring sand? Does it even matter because sand is already so prevalent? Like many of the enemies that you face are bringing T-Tar anyway, so if you're not running Weather Clear, like it hardly even matters. Just run Pursuit Tar. Like, what do you think about like this idea? Like this physical offense like sand because it helps them punch through things like Blissey and Suicune more easily rather than allowing that like the opponent to get chip heal.
So physical offense generally does appreciate sand on some of its Pokemon, specifically because there's a lot of Pokemon that can't get like one-hit KOs, but they can get 93% damage, which is enough to kill with the sand chip afterwards.
Right.
Whether you have leftovers or not, you take sand first.
Exactly.
So that's really appreciated. Also, what does physical offense suck against, right? That we have to ask ourselves that question.
Okay.
Physical offense sucks against Swampert, right?
Yeah.
It sucks against Skarmory, right?
Yeah.
It sucks against Metagross,
Claydol?
right?
Not as because like Hidden Power Bug.
Not as much, but not as much, but sure, Claydol. So all of those four are problems for physical offense, right?
Yeah.
But I believe I just listed 4 sand immune
Pokemon, yeah.
Which means that if you're fighting that matchup, there's a T-Tar. So the reason we bring T-Tar is because in our bad matchups, T-Tar's already there anyway, so sand's going to be a problem. But having T-Tar on our side gives us pursuit, so we're not losing anything because we were already going to have to fight sand regardless. But having our own T-Tar gives us the opportunity to pursuit. And if you run into a team that doesn't have those Pokemon, it's much less likely to be a Spikes plus Gengar core. so you're not going to need to bring out T-Tar as early, and you can just like keep it in the back because you don't need to pursue anything. There's no Gengar, so we're just going to keep the sand off so that Snorlax is just taking people. Snorlax is taking people to church.
Dude, how long have you been playing this tier? Like you have like a masters in this tier. Like this, you're like blowing my mind.
So there's a very interesting story about how I started playing old generations. I was like really, really upset with where I was in life. I was working as the lifeguard and everybody was great, but I just like it wasn't what I wanted to be doing and it was making me really sad. But I like wanted something to like let me think while like not let my mind wander, right? Give me something to focus on that I wasn't like just sweating everything else. And I was watching BKC videos, and he was doing at that point his number one in gens 1 through 5 climb. And I was like, well, that's not on the table, but let's see if I can maybe get 1500 in every single generation, because I looked at it and getting 1500 would get you to top 100 in every single gen.
Right.
At the time it would. And fun fact, at the time, I had been playing Pokemon for like maybe 4 or 5 years, on and off, very on and off.
Yeah.
But I had never played a single game of Overused in my entire life. I love Hariyama. It's my favorite Pokemon of all time, and it was never used in PU. So what I did was I went down to RU and NU and PU, and I played Gen 6 low tiers, Gen 7 low tiers. And I did okay. That's where I learned how to play Pokemon. That's where I cut my teeth.
Right.
But then I came back, or I came back to Pokemon around that time, and I was like, let's start with Gen 3. And Gen 3, first team I ever made was Dugtrio Special Offense, and I climbed to like 1430, going I think like 20-1. And I was like, I'm goated. I'm the best. I'm so good.
Right.
And then I dropped to 1090 in one night. And I got humbled so hard.
Yeah, we've all been there. I know that feeling all too well.
So I started just bouncing back and forth and trying all these different things. And I liked the gen, but I just hated trying to work my way through Skarmory. And I had all these teams that I was like, oh, I'll boom on the Skarmory. That's how I'll beat it. And then I'd lose to like, Perslax. And I'll be like, oh, come on, man. I'd keep trying with all these different teams that I knew were good. And by the way, other thing, I don't use sample teams. I've never used a sample team. I make all my own stuff and I lose with it because that's how I like to play. I like to try and figure out what's going on in the meta my own way. There's a reason why there's a goddamn Kingdra and a goddamn Electrode and a Snorlax with 250 defense on this team. It's because I'm an idiot. There's no sane reason to be running these sets. But I eventually actually gave up on Gen 3 and was like, I'll come back to it. Maybe it's just not for me. Right. Tried Gen 5 because he talked so much about how much Gen 5 sucks. And I went 40-3 and got 1500 with the first team that I ever made in Gen 4 or in Gen 5. And I was like, oh wait, maybe I'm not terrible. It was like such a high. Yeah. And the funny part is I got there and immediately I got my first like email back for the second round of one of the jobs I was applying for. And it was like, oh wait, that's so cool that like these two things, like progress in Pokemon, happened at the same time as progress in real life. And I ended up getting 1500 top 100 in gens 1 through 8. It took me like 9 to 10 months, and I had to take, and I stopped, of course, at several points to like actually do job interviews and stuff and work. And I took off like 3 months in the middle because Gen 9 came out. And I was like, Gen 9 is filthy. Gen 9 is dope. I was all about terastallizing, and I was all about Iron Bundle until they banned it in 6 minutes.
This is such a heartwarming story. Please go on.
No, but and what was funny was that every time I finished a tier, I actually kind of got like progress in the job interview stuff. Like I got my first interview after I completed Gen 4, and it didn't go well. It went absolutely fucking terrible. And I got a second job interview somewhere else, at something, I think it was like, I don't know, some gen, maybe it was Gen 8 or something. But I was told by the person who interviewed me that they were going to hire me, but the position had been closed after my interview. And I was like, fuck, I had it. I had it.
Damn, yeah.
And then after I got Gen 1 1500, which by the way, Gen 1 1500 is 9th on the ladder, or it was at the time. So I was like, let's go. That gen is such a pain. Getting top 10 in that gen is just, I think it made me a worse human being while I was playing the tier. It's
Yeah,
just so frustrating.
it sounds miserable.
It's it's brutal, and it's super skillful. It's super skillful. It's if you're someone who's like completely okay with having like, you know, your aces cracked where you hit quad aces and they hit like a royal flush in poker, if you're willing to accept that variability, but you like the skillful element of poker, by all means, you should really get into RBY, because it is one of the most rewarding generations to invest time and effort into, because you just learn. There's like 14 Pokemon that anybody brings, and you just get better and better and better at dealing with the RNG and playing around these outs. And if you're a rager and you call people bad names on Xbox Live, don't play that tier. You will get banned. You will literally get like, you've been reported. You're going to. This didn't happen to me. I've reported people in that tier, but I don't think I've gotten reported. But like, yeah,
But
no,
Gen 1 in particular, they don't put up with that shit.
no, it's just more common that it's going to happen in Gen 1 because it's more likely that you're going to be screaming, right? Like 1 in every 20 games makes you scream in Gen 3 because it's like Rock Slide Flinch twice in a row,
Right.
or double para into crit Thunderbolt. But like crits happen, like if you look at the number of RNG things that happen per turn in Gen 3, it's like 0.2 weird RNG things. In Gen 1, it's like 0.6 per turn. It's the expected
Gotcha.
value of BS in that game is, oh boy. But I got hired after getting Gen 1, and it was the second to last one, and then I had to earn through Gen 2 before I started my job, because I was like, this is going to be my goal. I'm going to finish, and then I'm done. I'm not going to play Pokemon for a year. And I didn't. I stopped playing Pokemon for a year after that. And then when I came back is when I got top 10 with this Electrode team. But yeah, it was. I made. You might be able to find it way back when I joined BKC's Discord to try and get help on Gen 2 because it was making me want to die. And when I did finally get 1500, I was like, here's the screenshot, bye forever. But I was so hyped. I was so hyped. I was like, because I like flew to 1500 when I finally found the Sun team that Sayatam made, and then made some adjustments to make it mine.
A Gen 2 Sun team?
Yeah.
I didn't
Gen
even
2
know that was a
Sun.
thing.
It's not anymore, but for a little bit it was. And oh god, if I had all the hours, I would talk about that Sun team, because it has one of the most interesting justifications for what makes it good. But what finally let me break through in Gen 3 is, I said I love Snorlax. I think it really rewards the way I play. And I love Hariyama because it's just a great Pokemon. It's my favorite Pokemon of all time. I'm gonna commit to using these two and just grind whatever I have to do around it to make it work. And you know what, team? I finally broke 1500 with, and again, this is back before Gymflation, so like number 1 on the ladder was like 1640,
Right.
and
Gymflation.
1500 was. No, that's what it's called. I've
is
seen
what
people
it
call
is.
it that.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. That's completely accurate.
Is what I made was a team called Balance Mixed Wish, and it was Hariyama with knockoff Brick Break, Rest, and Rock Slide. It was Snorlax with Curse, Return, Earthquake, and Explosion. No curse, no rest. It was Fortress with Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Spikes, and Explosion. It was Salamence with full HP, a bunch of physical defense, Wish, Roar, Dragon Claw, Fire Blast. So defensive Salamence, because I'm running a weather team and I need to make sure I don't lose to Salak Heracross.
Right.
On a side note, shout out to Benji of back then. Wasn't nearly as good. Figured that out. Like that was a really neat moment with hindsight. And then the last two Pokemon to put everything together was Wish, Protect, Pursuit, Charm, Umbreon.
That sounds like
a
a Gen 2 set.
It is. It is almost exactly. And the reason it works is because Fortress baits in Gengar, Snorlax baits in Gengar, you switch Umbreon in, it gets burned, and then you synchronize the burn onto Gengar.
Right.
And now you Pursuit trap it. And it doesn't matter if you kill it with Pursuit, because you go into Fortress and you Rapid Spin forever. And eventually it'll die and you'll get spiked off forever, and they will have to deal with your spikes. So you win the spikes war. And then the last mon was Ludicolo with Rain Dance to clear weather for Cursed Snorlax, Leech Seed to make incremental progress and get added value from spikes. Also to heal up your Pokemon, because this likes to like have long games, and because it's speed control. If you run into a DDT tar, this is very defensive Ludicolo with enough speed to outspeed Aerodactyl in the rain. You can Rain Dance with Ludicolo, and now you outspeed that revenge killing or that endgame DD tar.
Yo, real quick,
and then Rain
I'm sorry to interrupt. Shouts to the one who went about Gymflation themselves, Jimothy Cool, in the chat.
No shot.
Yeah, Jimothy's here. What's up,
Jimothy?
Jim?
Oh man, I don't know if Jimothy knows this, but we've played, him and I.
Jim, I'm on a call right now with an unknown ADV legend, somebody who has gone about
certainly not
some insane accomplishments that we were discussing earlier. What did you hit? Like you hit something crazy with like 4 UUBL Pokemon.
It was only 3. It was just the ADV or the BL challenge, but it was back at the time before I think Bad Zioba. I think Bad Zioba has the record.
Right.
Before whoever went bananas with Baton Pass, and was just like, Baton Pass can get 1850. Did you guys not know that?
You set a record at a point, and you also reached top 10 ADVOU ladder like what 10 months ago with this insane Electrode rain team with Kingdra and like a defensively invested Snorlax and some other crazy stuff. And when it's been so sick, like hearing about like your journey with Pokemon and how it's kind of like coincided with, you know, like an arc of your life of trying to like, you know, like pivot careers and like further your career and everything. And that's just a beautiful story, man. I'm so happy that you shared that with me, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like what I'm really getting at is like I kept struggling. I kept like making teams, maybe getting to like 14 something, and then just getting pummeled by all of these like good players. Like I'm sure I ran into Jimothy without knowing it was him, and he like cooked my butt back in this time. And I finally found a team that I made with 3 BLs. With Umbreon, Ludicolo, and Hariyama that I didn't even know ladder achievements existed at the time.
Right.
And it's built for all of these super weird interactions because like lead Hariyama knocks off Skarmory, and then Umbreon traps Gengar. And do you know what happens when Skarmory doesn't have leftovers? Fortress comes in on it and clicks Rapid Spin 64 times until it kills Skarmory with Rapid Spin.
That's insane.
And then spikes are gone, Skarm is gone, Gengar's gone. They have 3 layers of spikes, and you have a Curselax. I mean, good luck to them. Good luck to them, because I got Weather Clear too.
This is crazy. There's now somebody in the chat with their icon being a literal Electrode. Nostalgia Suit, welcome. Welcome to the agenda.
No.
That's great. You know what's funny?
I'm not an Electrode believer. I want to be clear. I'm not 100% an Electrode believer. I'm not... It worked.
You're the goat.
Very nicely on this team, but
I hate to break it
I'm
to
not
you.
sure it's great.
You are the literal Electrode goat. I don't. Who else can claim that they got top 10 ADVOU ladder with primarily an Electrode team? I don't know that anybody else can claim
Vapakuno did it. I bet you Vapakuno had did it.
Besides Vapakuno, well, what hasn't Vapakuno done? But
Vapakuno's done everything. I'm pretty sure Vapakuno has like gotten. It's like I think Vapakuno deserves credit for like other people getting top 10. Like somehow, some way, he should get the credit for that because it just went just an absolute monster. But what I'm trying to illustrate is that like these, I would have never like started to figure this out and never started to like get this team to like help me learn ADV if I kept sticking with these teams. And there's one moment if you can you pull up the stream from not the first stream of Electrode but the second stream of Electrode?
Yeah, let me see if I can find
there's a moment where you have Zapdos in against Jolteon.
Where I have Zapdos in on Jolt. Yeah, let me see if I can find this. I played some last night after doing some live Jimothy Cool Winter Classic commentary.
Was anything going on there also being sad because of anything else that didn't happen last night? If anybody doesn't know, both Zets and I are really big Cleveland Cavaliers fans.
Yes.
I'm wearing a hat.
I've informed Jim that. Well, I told Jim a week ago that the Cleveland Cavaliers are the greatest basketball team of all time, and I popped into his stream. He's always got so many people in there. I don't think he saw my message, but sadly, I did update him last night that we're no longer the greatest team of all time. We've been usurped by, unfortunately, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know if this is the moment, by the way, if you're still seeing my screen. I have a moment where I've got a Zapdos in on a Skarm.
No, sorry, it was Zapdos in on Jolteon.
Oh, my Zapdos in on somebody's Jolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Becker. I'm going to queue up a match in just a moment. Jim has added a few things. He said he thinks Linear surely did at one point in terms of getting Electro to top 10.
Oh, Linear Curve. Oh, absolutely. That dude's the GOAT.
Okay, so Jim, like one of my favorite videos that you've done is the iceberg video. You had two separate iceberg videos, but the segment where you talk about Linear, like Linear just sounds like a legend to me because he hasn't been around, right? He hasn't entered in like however long, but he was so dominant and won with like all these teams and like had these structures that nobody else could seem to replicate. And like I want to like go back through the footage and like watch it myself. It almost sounds like somebody talking about like, oh yeah, like the Cowboys in the 90s and like going back and or something crazy like that. People talking about like these legends of a before time. And I wish there was more content kind of documenting, because people that know, like people that have been in the community for like a long time, they all know about Linear, but all the Jimothy heads, like all those that have joined into this Jimflation that we now experience, all I know is what you've told me about Linear. And like to me, he's just like this deity figure. I want to know
all
everything.
I know or all I do. So can you go to 110:30?
You found it. 110:30. Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, I've got a Zapdos in on a Jolt.
Yep. So remember earlier when I was saying the guy made a good play, but it might be the wrong play because he reads the substitute correctly, and that's sick that he went for it and broke the sub, but it actually ends the game and allows you to sub and win.
Yeah, I kind of remember this. Oh, Jim.
Okay.
Yes, true. Jim adds that Linear has his own channel that has some good videos. I have gone back and watched some. He's like done some commentary of like, I think SPL matches. And it was amazing hearing his thought process. Yeah. Like incredible videos. I want to go back and rewatch some of those. I'll probably like stream just watching some of those videos sometime this weekend, honestly. But over here, do you want me to...
from old school? Oh no, just keep it paused. I was gonna say, you know who else I love from old school ADV is Zomog. Zomog, one of my favorite players. Just, dude, ADV is full of so many sick players. So, do you remember what you do here?
No, dude, I hardly even remember this game. I have a Oh, is this one of the games where the Skarm just protected on my Houdini explosion? It's turn 13. I have a Zapdos in. I'm guessing I've chipped something and I've taken damage. I've revealed the lax. Beyond that, I can't really tell you what the hell happens.
So what's going on here is that you've got a 17 or no 19% Zapdos with a total of 61 HP, and you have revealed that the opponent has a Jolteon. So what you do here is you switch Zapdos into Snorlax. Snorlax takes Thunderbolt. Let me rephrase one more time. You
Yeah,
switch Zapdos out into a 0 special defense Snorlax, into
true.
Jolteon Thunderbolt without leftovers, and Sand is up.
Those
The
are all
result,
true things. Those are all insanely true
those are
things that
all
happen.
true things.
Right.
But let me tell you that from a different perspective. You see Zapdos as at 19%, but recognize that it can still have value uh, by outspeeding and threatening Skarmory, by outspeeding and maybe chipping Tyranitar, by threatening the fact that they might have a Swampert back there. You made a play that is, I think, good. Like not just okay, but like genuinely good and what smart players do on a different team.
Right.
This team is it can't do that. It can't reward that. And so even though you made a good play, I wish that the team I'd given you had been one that gave you positive feedback for doing something that I think is usually pretty smart. Because if we look at the actual effect of this turn,
Isn't
you
that big of a
conserve.
problem?
Yeah, I'll just wait. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
let's let's
Let's see what
watch it out.
happens.
So what we're gonna have see happen
I
is
don't
we're
think I
gonna
care that
conserve
much, and I think
19% on Zapdos
right.
uh,
We
by
go
switching into
lax.
Snorlax.
And
We
T-Bolt
take
just
32 and
yeah.
then take 6 from Sand.
We take 37%.
But we take 37%, but retain 19% on Zapdos.
Right.
But what we know that the opposing team has a Jolteon, and that we don't have anything that convinces the Jolteon to come in except for the Zapdos and the Electrode.
Right.
So that Zapdos at 19%, at best, it's going to be able to do 30% to Jolteon when Zapdos comes in on like Skarmory, if it reads the switch and clicks HP Grass. And then it
Mhm.
still dies because Jolteon's alive and
It
outspeeds it and
outspeeds.
kills it.
Exactly. And that happens.
All
I
we're
think that happens later in the game.
So all we're getting out of it, all of we're getting out of keeping it alive is 30% on a Jolteon that I think gets O-code from this range by everything on the team except for Electrode. So it's like on this team, that really smart play that can let you squeeze that last bit of value out of a low health Zapdos, it's not getting rewarded. And I think that like part of getting better as a Pokemon player is like learning to accept that even if you're not going to say this team is bad for me right now, at least being able to say this version of the team is bad for me right now. It's not rewarding the way I like to play. I think you'd be much better off with a team that gives you a lot of opportunities to heal Pokemon back up, because there were a bunch of moments where like you conserved something and saved it for later and took damage elsewhere so that you kept like an even playing field in terms of number of Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
But this team is just not built for that. It's built to get like a 4-3 Pokemon lead after 10 turns and then win the endgame with either Heracross or Rain. And that's hard. That's a hard style to learn. And it's a style that if you do learn it, is probably going to just take you running your head into a wall for a while. And there are so many other styles that I think would help you learn better than this. And they would make
Right.
you a better player and probably make you better able to operate this team than if you just continued to try and operate this team for 100, 200 more battles. I uh I think there's maybe some irony in the fact that this is maybe something called like let me show you the way of Electrode, but my advice might actually be maybe call it on Electrode for now. Let's I mean I would even like to maybe like build a team that I think you feel encourages your skills and your like natural attributes better.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. I also want to add that you gave me this team paste. I copied and pasted it and just kind of sent it. I looked at like the move pool, right? But like I wasn't even looking at like the EVs and recognizing, oh, this is a physically defensive Snorlax, like that trying to like
Takes
utilize like the curse stats.
nothing from DD-Tar. It takes nothing from Rock Slide.
Yeah, exactly. So like I wasn't I didn't even do my homework. So like I the last thing I'll add is like I feel like I could put myself in a spot where I study the team, I understand the role that the Pokemon's trying to play with respect to its entire set, and I think I could make better plays. But like I was just simply assuming, oh, like Lax is a special wall, you know. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I
no, but you're
I
totally right.
100% feel you.
You're completely right. Honestly, the team I've seen
I
the
would
most success with is this one. And let me create a Poke Paste of it, and we can take a look. Can you still see everything?
I can. I'm gonna lean in a little bit to. Triple choice band.
Yeah, so
Let's go.
it's choice band spam. It's like very like high risk, high reward. And I'll talk to you very briefly about like an iteration of this team because I've made some adjustments. There had been like a Snorlax at one point that was choice banded, and that wasn't working out well for me. At one point, the meta was also choice banned. This is Zet's hyper offense. Okay.
Let me
And
tell you something. I need to hear about how you used to be running a choice band Gengar too, because of Stab Shadow Ball.
no. Fortunately, that was never the case. I ended up adding Gengar and Starmie over. I don't even remember what the hell used to be on this. Because I literally couldn't beat Zapdos. A single Zapdos literally just like destroyed my entire team because I couldn't outspeed it with anything. I couldn't switch out.
T-Tar's got to survive, right? I mean, it doesn't like switching into T-Bolt, but it can take two in a pinch.
I had one of those experiences that we've discussed earlier in the stream where I lost to a Zapdos and I couldn't explain why. I was just like, what the fuck am I supposed to? It just clicks Thunderbolt and it beats me, you know? But anyway.
Exactly. And yeah, you got to be willing to just be like, hey, look, I don't think that was my fault. Shit team.
Yeah, so
All I do is
iterated it, right?
I don't care what you got with this Electrode team. I've tried it. It's bad. I want you to not just like be willing to say it, but be willing to acknowledge that you're right. That like you saying that is truthful to the experience that you have. It's not that you're bad. It's not that you're inexperienced. For like a bunch of players, this team is just bad. It just doesn't help you learn. It doesn't like reward your good plays. It doesn't punish your bad ones. You don't know why you're winning. You don't know why you're losing. It's bad. But I do goodness, it's very late, and I'll be honest. I was kind of hoping we would not get a game on the ladder. I was hoping to just do like learning stuff, but
yeah,
I did.
That's cool.
If you check Discord, I sent you a replay that's not of this exact team, but it's of the same structure that I think you've been like having a little bit of trouble parsing.
Okay.
And you get to see like, oh, okay, so this is how this structure works. So it's the same bulky offense, hyper offense, whatever you want to call it, structure of choice banded Metagross, Curse Boom Lax, and Zapdos. But the Zapdos has changed. The Zapdos is now Spadef. And now instead of using that to get a 3v4 and try to win with Rain, it's trying to win with physical offense. Because while I did say earlier that don't use it, physical offense sucks.
Offense is bad, yeah.
I'm a Snorlax player, which means sometimes you have to play physical offense, and sometimes you have to play physical offense in a way that is even more aggressive than normal. And this is an example of that. Sorry, do you want to pull it up? We can like skip through the turns to make it super fast.
Yeah, no, we can. I'll pull it up. Let me just set this up a little bit differently.
I guess before we start, there was one thing that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Remember how earlier I told you we were going to make a reference to chess, and I haven't done that yet?
Yes, that's incredibly true. We have not done that.
So what is the win condition of chess? When does chess end?
Well, I mean, chess ends when you...
Or game of chess.
You checkmate the opponent's king.
Yeah. So what does checkmating the opponent's king mean?
Putting it in a position where it has no moves, where it doesn't like die. Right? Yeah.
Now, interesting. What is the win condition of Pokemon?
Eliminating all 6 of the opponent's team.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of all 6. And isn't there a little bit of something interesting? Sorry, are we still in the same call? Can you still hear me? I
Yeah,
just did something.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Uh, isn't that interesting that there's a little difference between chess and Pokemon? Chess does not ask you to finish it. It just asks you to get into a position where you're at 100% likelihood to win. This
Right.
series of moves does not allow the opponent any chance to win. If we were playing chess and you were playing that game where you had Heracross in against the Machamp, it would
Mhm.
have ended right there because the game would have said, oh, substitute, reversal, reversal, reversal wins.
Mhm.
There's nothing the other guy can do about it. It's over. It'd be like, but it doesn't do that. It forces you to click the moves. It'd be
Right.
like if in chess you could go into checkmate, but then move the king, and then they have to realize that the king is still able to be taken.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's fundamentally different, but that difference, it influences people learning Pokemon in a very negative way, where what they think is that the way you win a Pokemon game is by getting 6 kills, and that's not that's not exactly right, because the implication of that is that every kill you get gets you closer to winning, but it doesn't necessarily. If I ask Jim Cool right now, uh, if he would rather have 1 Pokemon, but it is Heracross at 1 HP at +2, and it's facing physical offense that has already lost its Tyranitar, and the sand was cleared.
Mhm.
Do you think he's taking the 5 Pokemon that looks like it's about to win, or is he taking the 1? You don't get closer to winning by getting a kill always.
Right.
Sometimes not taking the kill is important because what you're trying to do is be the first person to get 6 kills. It's 6 that's the number that matters. Getting closer doesn't get you there always. It's the position to get the end game over. And that's what we're looking for. And in chess, what that means is grandmasters memorize 100 different endgames, and they try to maneuver themselves into the endgame that they want. That's either a draw or a win.
Mhm.
And same for us. What we want to do is we want to position Electrode in against a bunch of flying types, and nothing that can survive a hit. We want to get Kingdra at high health with Rain up against a bunch of stuff that can't survive a Surf. We want to get Heracross in at 1 HP with a Salic Berry boost and no weather. We want to get uh, 2 Pokemon left for the opponent and 3 Pokemon for us, but 2 of them are Snorlax and Metagross, so we just click boom twice and end the game. There are these end game win conditions that we want, and the only thing we care about is getting towards those. We don't care about keeping health on our Pokemon. We don't care about any of these individual ideas. We just care about how do we get to that end game. Uh, and I think that difference is like a really important thing to realize. Like I made this team. What is its win path? How is it trying to win?
Mhm.
A lot of great teams, their win path is like get sand up, get toxic on like 3 Pokemon, and then just switch into the wall over and over and over again until they die from status. People
Right.
should really come up with a name for teams that use like spikes and sand and like certain types of status that maybe increase in damage over time. Those teams are really strong. There needs to be like a simple archetype name for that sort of thing.
Yeah. Somebody will have to. Maybe Jimothy can make a video about it or something.
Maybe Timothy could do that. Yeah,
Surely he hasn't done so
uh,
already.
sure, certainly. He would certainly never use a team like that. Certainly not with a madness on.
Not while he's streaming, at least. He's got to run funny Pokemon instead.
Yeah. All right. So can we play here?
Yeah.
Uh, and I might go through this a little bit quick. So really quick. Metagross be Metagross. Uh, they're I'm choice bound Metagross. I have no idea what Metagross they are, but if they are a Metagross, then the only thing they can click to hit my Metagross is Earthquake. And if they're scared of my Metagross, the only things they can do to switch into it are Swampert, Suicune, maybe Milotic, and Skarmory. So 100 times out of 100, I take 0 seconds here. I'm immediately switching to Zapdos because it is immune to the Earthquake and it beats all of the other things. So we're not even questioning what's going on. We're immediately going to switch Zapdos. Timer's not going to show up.
Do you
So if we
think
go to the next turn. Mhm.
the last thing I'll ask is like, there's so many of these situations where it's like because we know they're effectively always doing this, I'm always doing this. But there's like that next level, like, if this is choice band meta, could he ever convince himself, you know what, like, fuck it. I'm rock sliding this time, because what if he goes Zap? And then does that give you pause and make you think, well, shit, maybe I'll just fucking Earthquake, because what if he rock slides my Zap? Like, what do you think about that?
No, I never think about that because he has no reason to think that Zapdos should be the switch in. Because remember how I just described that this is what he's thinking? Well, he should be thinking that that's what I'm thinking too. So he's thinking that the only switch-ins to Metagross really that he has to consider are Swamp. Well, he's maybe considering also that Zapdos is some small likelihood, but like Rock Slide doesn't do anything to Swamp. It doesn't do anything to Metagross. It doesn't do anything to Skarmory. It doesn't do anything to Milotic. So he's picking a move that's bad. He's picking a move that like covers nothing except an option that he has zero reason to believe is going to happen.
Well, here's my question,
There's
though.
no Zapdos revealed. Yeah.
So you said that 100% of the time you're going Zap, and you explained it, and it didn't seem like it was like a style thing. It was like this is just like the reality of the situation. Like all the things that will typically switch in on a Metagross lose to Zap, or like the thing that he's gonna click to damage the things that he thinks could be switching in, like a Skarmory, a Swampert, etc. Like all that loses to Zapdos, right? And for that reason, that's why you're going Zap, right?
Yep.
And you said you're doing that 100% of the time. So why can't he know that? Why can't?
Oh, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
If this is the second time he's played me, he does. If this is the second time he's played me, I have to do wildly different stuff.
So you're not,
because he's gonna be like, okay, but like, he doesn't know anything about my team at this point. So
yeah, and he doesn't know. Yeah, because like anybody could always have anything, especially as Zapdos at this point. But you're describing your playstyle. You're not telling me this is correct. Is that's a
I'm
distinction
describing
we're drawing.
why. Yeah, and I this is exactly why I wanted to draw that distinction, because I think that when you become a really strong player, and I am saying when, not if, I think that play might still be one that you would rather not make. It might be one like BKC or ABR, they're probably not making that play. They're probably going into something else for like a different form of advantage.
Right.
But like the way I play, I want the first 10 turns to result in me losing a Pokemon and you losing a really important piece of your team. So I'm going Zapdos. And if we've already played, and he goes Skarmory. Oh, give it to me. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to Thunderbolt. Every time I'm going to Thunderbolt because I want to force him to reveal either Blissey or Celebi. I don't really care which one. I just need to see it so that I can plan accordingly for what I'm going to do for one versus the other.
And this information is so huge. It's so critical.
It's so huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
So helpful because he doesn't know what I'm doing, and I'm running a weird team because, like, I mean, look at my Snorlax set. So I will always be operating with more information than him, unless he's also running a weird team. But
in that case, the information that he reveals is just as it's even more important, right?
Yeah, in that sense. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So let's see.
And he goes Claydol.
Oh, his switch-in is Claydol? All right. Zapdos beats Claydol 1v1, so let's just stay in and HP Grass. If he booms immediately, I think I am okay with that because there are a couple of Pokemon that would really appreciate booms being gone. So I'm just going to get some chip damage on this Claydol. Let's go, baby.
Okay. You do just that. He offs the Psychic, which is doing Peanuts.
He Psychics, sees it does Peanuts, and now he knows that I'm Max Spadef Zapdos, which is a set. That's a fairly common set.
True.
This is Rest, Thunderbolt, HP. Who knows? Could be HP Ice.
Exactly.
Don't switch in your Salamence.
Exactly. He doesn't know.
But I'm gonna. I actually have no idea what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna HP Grass again? No, I'm Metagross
on the Blissey.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's the thing. There's two moves he can make. Either he booms now, or he goes Blissey on the HP Grass because it beats Zap, even if I predict him to go into a Knock Ground, and I Thunderbolt.
Right.
And Meta beats both the Boom and it beats the Blissey.
Could he ever be afraid of like BP there? Like, couldn't you BP to Doug?
Is he ever afraid? Oh, sure. It'd be a little bit weird to have, or Metagross is not the most common lead on Zapdug, but like it
Sure.
could totally work. Because if your Dug doesn't trap the Zap, you really need something to punish Blissey. So you can BP into Metagross on Zapdug teams, and that's totally reasonable. Uh, the
But yeah,
reason, so here's the thing. Maybe he's just accepting the fact that Baton Pass could punish him, but like so be it. Without Sand up, Blissey actually has a pretty good chance against Dug. Uh, that's an interesting one, actually. Yeah, if Blissey gets access to leftovers, Dugtrio is sweating a little bit trying to trap it. Um, which is why Sand is so important on Zapdug teams.
yeah.
But
Or like getting a spike down,
uh,
right?
yeah, yeah. But also he um knows that I'm max special defense Zapdos,
Right.
which means that Baton Pass has become much less likely.
Okay.
So it could be either of those.
And so
But
now
what do you
your
think
meta
I'm
is
going to do
here.
now?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Specifically, let me ask this: what do you think Ma Mekta should do?
You have not revealed anything with the meta. You went right to the Zap, so it's unclear what this is. Obviously, like Meteor Mash is a thing, and he could go
Mhm.
to either his own meta or Claydol. Though Claydol's already down to 70%, and if he brings it in,
Claydol will die to a choice band Meteor Mash
if it's
from
choice
this
bait,
range,
sure,
I think.
okay. So maybe he's thinking like, well, meta, or I could go Skarm. Even if it's choice band, it's only taking like 35%. It can protect chip heal. It can still try to get a
You
spike.
get a
And
spike,
if you're
right?
choice band,
Spike is huge here.
you can't boom on it. And this is where you're
Exactly.
talking about booming on the switch. You're gonna boom. He's gonna
Yep.
switch to Skarm, and then you win the game.
So let me tell you something. This is not the Electrode team, so it's not as important to boom on the Skarm. We're gonna see what I actually do. But yeah, you're 100% right. Because what I've shown is that one of my ways of beating Skarmory is Zapdos. But that's not a threat because it's been revealed that it's special defense Zapdos.
Hmm.
So if I double Zapdos in on Skarmory, he just switches to Blissey and I get no progress. So
Exactly.
he is now even more encouraged to go into Skarmory, which is why I make the double that I'd actually make, which is because this is physical offense.
What is going on?
Uh, so now he's got a Skarmory. He can't switch Metagross in because overheat. He can't switch Claydol in because overheat, and he can't switch Blissey in because Earthquake and Boom are terrifying.
Camerupt gets
Most
boom.
Camerupt are running.
That's crazy.
Yes, that's the only reason it exists is because it gets boom. And the other part about it that's really cool is because it's a ground type, it gets stab earthquake, which is pretty uncommon, and it
True.
runs max attack. So it gets a really strong boom, a really strong earthquake, and it beats the steel types. It doesn't beat them, but it can kill them if it has a safe chance to click a button.
Okay, hold on. You wanted this is brilliant. You wanted to get the camera up specifically in front of the Skarm because, did you say you have Fire Blast on this?
No, I have overheat, so it's even more accurate than Fire Blast.
You have perfectly accurate overheat, which
Not perfect, but it's better.
it can miss. Damn. It one shots.
It's so sad.
Does it? Surely it OHKOs. Special defense Skarm.
I think I'm not max special attack, but it does enough that every single physical attack kills, and this is physical offense, so we care more about Skarmory being able to be killed than we
Chipped
care
into
about it
sure
literally
sure.
being dead.
Okay, so now you're like everything revealed is threatened by something that you could do.
Uh-huh.
And is this now a situation where it's like you have to have a range and you want to effectively balance that range, or like how do you go about like approaching such an advantageous position such as this?
See what set I am. Let's click play. Let's see what set I am.
Protect sub. Oh my fucking god.
Swallow, please.
This is fucking insane. He's so cooked. Is he gonna
So
forfeit? Is that the end of the game?
the reason why I substitute is because he could switch into Swampert, and I don't want to waste an Earthquake into Swampert or waste an Overheat into it.
So if he did go Swampert on the sub, like what do you click then?
Let's find out, because he's gonna make a switch here.
He decides to go Milo. You miss an overheat.
Oh yeah, remember you were saying Overheat can miss?
Yeah.
This is so unlucky for him, because now my overheat is still at max power,
Oh,
so
that's
he
so
can't go
true.
back into Skarm. It's so sad for him.
That's actually kind of sick. And now, like,
Um,
I imagine Stab Earthquake
so
is doing heaps.
it's doing a decent amount, but without sand, it's not doing that much.
It's not going to
And
outpace Recover.
Milotic, yeah, it's certainly not going to outpace Recover.
Okay.
But what I can do is I can Earthquake to force him to break the sub, and then I can switch in like a free Zapdos in on
On the
the
Recover turn.
Recover, and then get momentum again. But what I do is I boom to try and get rid of it, and he outplays the fudge out of me,
Holy shit. He went to the Skarm
and I
on
die.
the sub turn. You had a sub
Yeah,
up and
because
everything. That's crazy.
think about it. Why would I ever boom with a sub up? I have the freest Earthquake of all time.
But he went
No.
Skarm to like get on top of the Earthquake. But then it's still overheat. Like this isn't like that favorable for him. I guess he can protect Chip Heal and try to help the Skarm out and then go somewhere else later.
Yeah. Well, remember the Skarm was at full health, so it wouldn't have needed to chip heal on the
Oh,
Earthquake.
true. It was before the boom, of course. Damn.
So what happened is I usually just boom here because I'm behind a sub and the water type is just going to break the sub because they're not that afraid of like Earthquake or Toxic,
Right.
especially Milotic, which is always running Refresh. Uh, so I was like, yeah, he's going to surf. I'm going to boom, and
Does that
I'm
kill?
okay. It does actually because boom
Damn.
is crazy and adamant. It's not adamant. It's plus attack minus physical defense.
So what do you think
Whatever
he
one
was
that
thinking?
is.
Like surely he didn't expect the boom.
Well, so here's what I think he was thinking. The one way to punish Milotic with Camerupt is Toxic. Not Boom, but Toxic. Skarmory switching in on the Toxic allows me to force him into an overheat, which I can pivot around. And if I pivot around it, I can switch Skarmory back in, and then he's
Exactly.
at -2, and I can start getting my spikes.
Like he needed that overheat
So,
to land on the Milo, and now he's gonna loop
yeah.
around to try to get it to land on the Milo or something like a Blissey again, so that the Skarmory is safe.
Yep.
And it ended up working
By the
out.
way, let's stop for a second and give a shout out to this dude. That's a great game plan. That's like brilliant.
Yeah.
Completely outplayed me. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right. So Zapdos beats Metagross, Skarmory, Milotic, and it beats Claydol. And I'm a physical offensive team. Spoiler alert, I'm a physical offensive team, and
Right.
Skarmory has been shipped to less than half. If I can Meteor Mash that Skarmory, my physical offense is going to be forcing stuff in all the time. And I'll be able to freely double into Zap and then freely double back into my physical offense stuff against the Blissey, and I can just keep making progress. So I'm like, okay, meta's really important, Zapdos is really important, let's go, let's get it. This team is all about making huge plays to get big advantages, and because that's the case, when you make a misplay, you're really behind the 8 ball, but because that's the case, it's just as capable of making a huge run to come back. So I'm really minus right now, but like that just means I gotta play good. I just gotta play good. I got outplayed. I didn't make a bad click with Boom. He outplayed me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's not the team's fault in this situation. I can accept that that's my fault. I didn't understand the situation well enough to acknowledge that like Camerupt was enough of a threat that he had to make some big plays. So reset Benji. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's see what we go into.
We
Gonna be
go
Zap.
straight to
Gonna be Zap.
Zapdos, and he's gonna go Blissey, so you're gonna go to Meta or something.
No,
No,
he's
he
gonna
protects
protect
first.
because he has to get the chip heal.
Of course, of course. So you click Thunderbolt on the protect, and now I imagine it's a
Forfeit.
double.
Now we're gonna double into Metagross.
Yeah, in front of
There's
the
the
Blissey.
Blissey.
He's got to go
Now,
somewhere.
what do we think we're gonna click? Wait, pause. Dang.
Oh, you clicked Meteor Mash.
So the reason I click Meteor Mash is because if I remember correctly, I was specifically trying to 2-hit KO the Skarmory.
Right, right.
And I didn't have enough respect for Milotic because I was like, I'll just switch Zapdos into Milotic. It's not like it's getting down a spike, right? What I'm really worried about is if he's switching into Skarmory. So yeah, let's keep going. Great play by him to go into Metagross instead of either Milotic or Skarmory. And oh no, that's choice ban Metagross. that's maybe a problem. We didn't see leftovers. It did
Oh,
a lot
true.
of damage. We're gonna see. All right, we're gonna have to make some plays now because this thing is super threatening to me as well.
True. Unfortunately, you get the Zapdos in on it. You predict the Earthquake correctly. So now he has to go elsewhere. But you know he's heavily inclined to go Blissey, which could allow you to go meta. But he could also just say, you think I'm going Blissey, so you're going to a Fizz-off Pokemon, so I'm just gonna Earthquake again. Like, do you ever think about that?
I honestly don't exactly remember what I do here, but I'm pretty sure I go Metagross. So I'm just like, if he outplays me, I will accept it because I have to make big plays to come back here.
Right.
Because I boomed on the wrong thing. So if he steps on my throat and doesn't go for the safe play and keeps playing aggressive, man, shake his hand sometimes. That was a great play with the Skarm, and it's going to be a great play with the meta if that's what he does. So like, shout out. I got nothing but respect for it.
Doesn't go for it that time. And yet again, we have the meta in front of the Blissey. Now, last time you Meteor Mash, it did 33% to meta without leftovers. It can only come in on that so many times. I mean, you have a roll to 2-hit KO this from this range. As you said before, like hitting the Skarmory is incredibly high value. There's only so many Pokemon that can switch in on the Meteor Mash.
Yeah, but Milotic is one of them because it has a resistance to steal and recover.
True.
And I've revealed that my click here was Meteor Mash last time. So I don't click Meteor Mash this time because I'm going to really try to catch that Milotic because it helps the physical offense in the back. So we're actually going to click Double Edge.
I thought Double Edge, yeah.
And he goes into Skarmory. Very smart play. The Meteor Mash would have been way more threatening, but now he gets a guaranteed spike. And that's gonna be a little bit troublesome.
You did 26%. Can you ever?
Well, he hasn't gotten
yourself
yet.
True. So if he protect chip heals, it goes up to 40. Spikes.
Well, no, he can't protect chip heal because he's so scared of the double into Skarmory. Yeah. So because he's out of range, he has to spike.
You think he straight up spikes here, and you could never convince yourself to simply Double Edge again and get him down to like 20-ish%.
Let's click play. That is exactly what I convinced myself to do because I need to get rid of this thing. And now, you know what's the key about this one? It's now in range of Double Edge if it switches in next time. Exactly. So I can click Double Edge much more freely.
Yeah, and that makes him much more inclined to want to go meta, which opens up like Earthquake angles.
Earthquake.
Yeah.
Because not only that, if he is afraid of losing Skarm and goes into he's deciding between Milotic and Metagross, Earthquake covers both of them.
Right.
It kills the meta, and it also mid-grounds the Milotic. So we're working our way back into a real spot here.
Okay. And this thing is going to protect, right? It's going to take its free 6%. It does.
I believe, yeah, but just in case, I'm like, let's force him to take Double Edge with something.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if you try to switch and he gets a second spike or something, like
real problems. Because then he gets a second protect, and he's back at 26 because he didn't use protect on the previous turn.
Right. So you have to deny it. Yeah.
Gotta keep the pressure up. Gotta keep pushing.
Okay. So now the question is, do you stay in Double Edge yet again?
I do, because he doesn't have that much that's great into it. He's gonna go Metagross. Is that really?
And then you've revealed like so few Pokemon on
nothing.
Turn 17.
He's got no idea what's in the back.
So many opportunities. Going Milo, and you do stay in. Oh, that's such a Double Edge.
Doesn't realize, perhaps, maybe realizes, or maybe is just worried about the double switch of some kind. Goes into Milo, gets 2-hit KO'd by the Double Edge.
Do you outspeed?
Extremely dangerous. I do.
Okay, that's crazy. So now he's like, fuck. Like, should I just go to the meta, like, and take more chip? Like, he can't let the Milo go. Blissey can't come in. Skarm can't come in. Claydol can't come in.
The only thing that's revealed is the Zapdos, so he doesn't know if he can let the Milo go.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's no information for him. He's the opportunity for him to make a bad play is through the roof right now.
Dude, that's so crazy. That's so true. That's so true. Like the way that you've played this has allowed you to understand your win conditions so much more than his, and he doesn't understand what a good or a bad play is because of it.
Yeah, because like what runs Zapdos Camerupt? oh, that's a Zapdos Camerupt team. That's all I do is wins. RMT.
Well, maybe
No,
that should
he's
be a
got
sample team in the future. That'd be kind of like the ultimate irony is like the guy who never uses sample teams and always makes his own teams eventually becomes so prolific that his own teams become sample teams, and then by
let's
technicality, you actually have used a sample team at that point. But I digress.
let's yeah, we might be overthinking some stuff, but yeah, no, I'm double edging here because oh, look at how much recoil I took from that. That's why the spike was such a good play. Him going into the Skarm, anticipating the double edge again, not worrying about meteor mash. That was a great play.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Because I'm taking recoil from every double edge, but I'm gonna stay in and do it because I'm not about to let this Milotic recover. It
Exactly.
There's no way he's ever doing anything but but meta, but there's no
Mhm.
way I'm gonna let him get Milo recovered,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I don't
Yeah,
care if this is a play that he's never making. I will lose to a good play. I'm okay with that. I'm not about to lose to a bad one.
true. Yeah, and you get extra chip on the meta. Now you're here. Of course, last time it earthquaked, you went to the zap.
Oh no,
Um,
there's no question. It's gonna explode. I just have to decide what I let die.
you think it's clearly gonna explode?
It's got nothing. It's got no reason. Like it can't really break the zap. It doesn't unless it has CB Rock Slide. It doesn't know what the heck is in the back. It could be, for all he knows, it could be like a Swampert that's just gonna, or like a, I don't know. It could be a Skarmory. It probably wouldn't be, but it could be a Skarmory. Uh, so he's got to get value out of this Metagross. He can't let it get chipped to death. And plus, Zapdos is so scary, right? Zapdos beats Claydol. Zapdos beats Milotic. Zapdos beats Skarmory's already dead, but whatever. He might actually know because I think this was a good player. He might actually know Endgame Special Defense Zapdos beats Blissey. Isn't that crazy? Because it has
That's true.
pressure and it will PP stall all of its moves by clicking rest and not having to waste its own PP.
Right.
And then it's gonna struggle and do recoil to itself, and we're just gonna thunderbolt until we win.
Is there
So
could they be thinking like, but what if they have a ghost type in the back?
yeah, they could, but there's this is one of those like this is one of those shake their hand plays.
Yeah, he's
Sometimes you
like,
have to
yeah,
be willing to lose to a bad move, but sometimes you have to be willing to lose to a great move, right?
right.
There are certain situations where it's just like, look, if you have honestly with the rest of the team that I'm looking at, I don't even think it's Gengar back there. Maybe you're running Dusclops. If you've got
Right.
Dusclops back there and you switch on my explosion, like kudos to you, man. I thought I had you with that camera up to play, but I'm going Zapdos here.
And you do go Zapdos, and he does blow up.
And
So
he
you
does
you
go.
give up the zap, and we've already identified how strong the zap is. So what you're
Yeah.
telling me now is what you have in the back is somehow even stronger.
Specifically because of the position I've put myself in. Remember how I said this is physical offense?
Right. And the Skarm is chipped. Blissey is Blissey. Milo is chipped down to 50. Cladle's down to 70.
Yeah.
And now we're going
And I
lax.
still and now we have lax. And you remember what set this lax is. This ain't normal lax. This is a lax that can get value.
And you're gonna curse on
Oh,
the protect. You're simply gonna curse on the protect. And he's
simple
he's
every
worried
time.
about choice band there, or like what is?
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
just trying to get
there's
health.
actually like he's like think about all of the great ways that this can go for Skarm. It can because it's clearly not leftovers. Maybe it's
Exactly.
Lum.
Exactly.
Maybe it's Resto Chesto. Maybe it's Choice Band. I'll get
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
Protect Chip. I'll be able to figure some stuff out. Now, here's the sad part about my Snorlax. If we play here, it got
It
all the way up
doesn't.
to 32. So
Oh,
Brick Break, it's doing 30, but it's not doing enough.
not quite enough.
Uh, Here, what we're going to do is we're going to double edge because
It hits the
we don't want
entire
to let the Milotic
universe.
back in.
Yeah.
So interesting, he can actually let the Blissey get hit and the recoil will kill me because Blissey has so
Oh
much
my
health.
god, that's so crazy. That's also so
So I
true.
have to it is also so true. But he sees Snorlax back here and he doesn't know what else is there. So I think he's probably going to sack something that's not Blissey because if he's thinking physical offense, which he might be, he might not, Blissey is needed to Ice Beam the Salamence. So I think there's a chance that he's going to sack something that's not Blissey and just try and get a good matchup in.
Allowing you to
But
stay in
I'm
the
taking
double
the kill.
edge. And he
I'm
allows the
taking the
Skarm to
kill.
go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so smart. Of course. Doug. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, this makes sense. This
Take
looks
the kill.
like an
Take the kill.
AVR kill. He gets the
Because
earthquake. Sure.
why would you keep the Skarm around? At best, it can double into a Snorlax and maybe get one spike.
Exactly. Yeah.
Physical offense doesn't care about that.
And you do have the Mets in the back, and we
So
don't know anything
here,
about it, but
let me tell you right now, this is a Dragon Dance Salamence. What are you clicking?
if I'm you,
Yeah.
well, +1 DD Mets Brick Break doesn't kill Blissey from 100%. So honestly, it might be Brick Break thinking that they're gonna go Blissey on the supposed Dragon Dance. Yeah, I might have to think about it for a moment. Because this feels like a Dragon Dance turn, but at the same time, you both know that DD +1 Brick Break doesn't one-hit KO Blissey, and it kills you back with the Ice Beam.
I
So,
even am DD Brick Break. Most are DD Earthquake.
okay. Well then, I don't know. Maybe you're gonna like go somewhere else in front of the Blissey. Like, are you an absolute madman? Are you going Snorlax or like to some other Pokemon in the back?
Let's see.
They go Milo. You
We
just you
HP
click
fly.
you simply HP fly. You just take damage.
We take the damage because we don't want to DD on the Milotic, which can survive after leftovers chip heal and maybe recover or kill me with Ice Beam. We don't want to waste a turn DDing when they have a Blissey that can switch in and kill me with Ice Beam if I get +1. Let's just take damage.
And now,
Salamence,
if it's yeah,
one of the greatest strengths of DD Salamence is that it is its own wall breaker. It's both an endgame sweeper and it is its own wall breaker because other Pokemon have to be so scared of getting swept that you can chip them coming in over and over again. And now it's in range. Now it's ready to die to Hidden Power Flying.
exactly. So now he's got to think, all right, am I going to let the Milo go or am I going to go elsewhere? And if he goes to Blissey and takes an HP fly, well, I guess he could soft boiled, assuming you're going to switch out because you don't want to get Ice Beamed and Hidden Power Flying doesn't 2-hit KO without an attack stack, I would imagine. So isn't going Blissey like kind of safe here for him?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, if I predict it, I might as well get chip on it, right?
Yeah,
Force
sure.
it to the soft boiled.
And he does in fact go Blissey, and you do HP fly.
That's fine for me.
And even if you predict that he's soft boiling, there's nothing really you can do because if you HP fly, like, I mean, you're getting outpaced by soft boiled. If you Dragon Dance, it's at full health, and then you have to switch out. So you have to switch, and it
HP
has to
fly
soft
is the
boil.
right play. Yeah, so now I get the free switch, right? And that's
Right.
actually pretty good for me.
Yeah, and the real progress is on the Milo, and then we get something else in front of the Blissey, and then it's gonna have to leave.
Yep.
We go to Snorlax.
And you already know.
Oh, it
And he
decided
Ice
to
Beam
Ice Beam.
doesn't go for it.
I guess
Dangerous.
he was calling out that you would HP. I don't know if I understand that play because we just concluded that there's basically no reason for you to ever stay in there, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe his thought process is the only thing that's revealed to be faster than Milotic is the Salamence. If I kill the Salamence, Milotic wins. Can just recover forever.
Yeah.
It's also one of those plays where, like, if they soft boiled and I turned out to be Brick Break, they're gonna wish that they had, like, if they
Ice
barely
Beam.
survive,
Sure.
for example.
Yeah, they
maybe
don't
they're
know that
gonna
you don't
wish
have Brick
they had
Break.
Ice Beamed.
And
Yeah.
Brick Break 2-hit KOs without an attack stack, right?
Yeah. And if I'm reading a soft boiled, I might click it. I might click it, for just the intimidation factor, even to make it so that they're more hesitant to bring Blissey in later.
Interesting. All right,
But
so you go to
was
Snorlax,
good
you
for
don't
me.
get frozen.
Ice Beam. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm Lumberry.
Oh, true. You very much are Lumberry. They switch the Blissey out. They bring the Claydol in for just the second time this game in front of the Lax. We know that if this is the same set that I think it is, it has Shadow Ball.
Yep, it does. And 180 physical attack.
And you're cursing. And now, like, you're always Shadow Balling, right? Like, well, this thing could blow up, but it's not going to kill you.
Yeah, if it's like a super offensive Claydol boom, it can kill me, I think. But or at least put me in range of Doug Trio.
But you're just shadow balling here, because even if Blissey
I
comes
think
in,
I'm
then
just
you have Brick Break.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
He psychics
Yeah, there's
you.
the psychic.
He's dead.
Shadow Ball. Yeah, I think he didn't know he was dead. I think he didn't realize that that is like adamant curse lax. Because I think what he's thinking is psychic, take the Shadow Ball, and then boom.
Right. Yeah, he thought he had an extra turn.
Yeah, which is exactly why we run the Snorlax, is to trick people into thinking they have more turns than they do, get the value.
Oh my god.
So here's the Milo. He brought it in on the one thing slower than it so he can heal it.
True. And like Shadow Ball, Brick Break are not doing anything. You could switch
not
the
it's gonna be at
Mensing.
76.
It's gonna go to 76, and that's before leftover chip heal. At the end of the turn. So, but could you simply just curse again here? You do. No, you sure yeah, you just blow up. I forgot that that was even a thing.
So I will reveal to you right now that the Pokemon in the back is Dragon Dance Tyranitar.
Yeah.
It is EV'd so that it 100% survives Metagross Meteor Mash. It is there is no roll that kills, except for if it's choice band, obviously. But against the normal Metagross, cannot kill it from full.
Yeah.
It is also EV'd to always survive 2 Thunderbolts from Zapdos and 1 Earthquake or 1 Earthquake from Doug. But damn it, there's a spike up, so it doesn't survive the Doug. I'll tell you though, there in this position, I have a 100% win if I go Tyranitar and get up the sand, because the only way I lose is if Salamence cannot KO with one move. And the only way to prevent that is if I prevent the chip healing from Blissey. So the move that I have to make is I have to go T-Tar right here.
So you blow up, and do you almost like not even care what gets blown up? Like are you're pretty confident they're recovering?
It has to be Milo. It has to be Milo. No, sorry, you're 100% right. Actually, for real, that was a great call. Because if something else gets blown up, that means Milo didn't get recovered.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have still been at 24, still be at range for Salamence.
So this was checkmate. But you had to see the line. But
it should have been.
It should have. Oh no. Okay, well you get Milo down. Blissey comes in.
And then my dumbass goes into Salamence instead of Tyranitar and lets it get a turn of leftovers healing.
And it goes up to 76.
What are you thinking, Benji? Now, so here we see that even though I did a bunch of really nice plays to get back in here, because I misplayed the endgame, I have to still outplay. I have to still get it. And this is where the last bit of the way I've played becomes really valuable.
Okay. So
I haven't revealed all of my Pokemon, right?
Oh, true. They don't know what you have in the back. Sure.
So he doesn't know that it's T-Tar in the back. So, let's play.
So you go there.
He doesn't soft-boiled, he Ice Beams, because once again, he's scared. Now, I make a terrible play here again, because maybe it was late. Maybe it was late at night and I'm just not thinking straight,
right.
But I predict the Doug trio to come in here and click Earthquake to try and kill it.
And you do so, but it doesn't get there, and now you're trapped.
And now I win. Now it's over.
Yeah.
Because he did not soft-boiled with the Blissey. He needed to soft-boiled with the Blissey in order to stay out of range. Because HP flying, yes, it only does like 70 max, I think, or something like that at +1. But if we click play, we're going to see that the end game comes, and I'm leftovers meant, so I'm not even scared of sand. We're going to DD.
Yeah.
And you were right the whole time. The last move is Brick Break.
It is Brick Break.
And we're going to get the win. We didn't reveal it. We had a million chances to try and hit the Blissey. We didn't go for it. We're trying to play for the end game. We're trying to convince them to let that Blissey be low enough to die.
That is so crazy.
This is how I try to play that Kingdra Electrode team.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy, right? Like that's not a reasonable thing to ask someone. Like how much like experience did you need with specifically the combination of Curse, Brick Break, Shadow Ball, Boom, Lax, plus Metagross, plus Zapdos to be able to like know that these loops of these switches force these positions, and I can feel like really confident. It's not a worthwhile thing to go through and learn at this point.
Right.
And
Right.
it's not like it's a skill that you'll probably pick up through other ways. So this is me showing that this is how I play the team,
Mhm.
and I would argue this is probably one of the better ways to play the team. But it's it's like it's too much. It's too much, especially for someone like you who was playing so well to conserve your resources, to switch your Zapdos out, to keep it alive for later, to play around like letting your Heracross get outsped. All of these things would get rewarded on a different team. It's just that on the team that you got, it unfortunately wasn't the like most ideal way to play.
That makes a lot
And
of
so
sense.
I think that if you're trying to get better, I think a different team is actually probably the right pick.
Well, we'll have to have another discussion at some point about trying to find. It's like picking a main almost in
It
Smash,
is. It's
right?
exactly that.
And it's like, well, how the fuck do I do that? You know, how do I find a team comp or a style that jives with me, that makes sense to me. I guess that's going to be its own journey, but
It will be. And
this has
it's a
been
very
awesome.
fun journey to go on.
Yeah.
Me personally, the way I play, I want to make progress every turn. I've never made a Skarmory team in my entire life. Blissey makes progress. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't. Wish, huge progress. Ice Beam, huge progress. Thunderwave, massive.
True.
It makes progress. Calm Mind, baby. But Skarmory, that thing is meant to make progress with spikes and then just like be an annoyance. Guy like me, I'm clicking spikes and trying to outplay to get 3 layers, and then I'm letting the Skarm die. That's just a stupid way to play Skarmory. And it's the way I play because it's the way I like to play. I want to get these momentum turns. And
Hmm.
Skarmory's not a great Pokemon for that because it's about stopping the opponent's momentum. It's not about like
Generating your own.
gaining your own.
Yeah.
And so I needed to make a team that generated my own momentum, which was what Balance Mixed Wish was, where I was like, oh, I knocked off your Skarmory with Hariyama. That's progress. I rapid spun your spikes away. I got my own spikes. That's progress. I'm threatening Boom with Forretress, so it's not just sitting here forever, waiting. I'm pursuit trapping your Gengar. And then when you've chipped my team, I'm going Umbreon on your special attacker, Wish. You switched into a physical attacker. I switch into my Salamence, Intimidate you. You hit me, I heal up because I got the Wish. I throw up another Wish with Salamence. You switch into an Ice Beam. I switch into Snorlax because the Ice Beam's going to hit me, but I'm going to heal back up to full, and now I'm going to make progress again, right? All of that was just to set up the opportunity for Snorlax to start making progress again, but it's going to happen. That was why all of those wishes were actually making progress. They were healing me up and letting me get these positions. So that's why that team fit for me, even though it is a balanced team, that's just worse than TSS. But it helped me. It fit me. And let me tell you, you're gonna find that team and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm the best. I'm so sick.
I hope so,
I'm out
man.
here gaming. I'm out here this is insane. I don't have enough catchphrases. I don't
Right.
remember all of them.
Dude, you've
You know
become like a true Pokemon master. Like you actually have gone through the journey. You've walked all the way up to the top of the mountain. You stayed up there and
no
meditated for 12 years, and now you've come back and you have this beard, and you're sharing wisdom. Do you understand that that's your role in this moment? It's crazy.
uh yeah, I think I didn't quite get to the top of the mountain. I'm pretty sure the top of the mountain was a good like 100 points ahead of me at the time. But like I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it. I don't really like competition. I didn't enter any of the melee tournaments. I like Pokemon because I think it's fun and I think it gives me an opportunity to flex some creativity. And I love it because I think it's a great way to express yourself. And so I love being able to like teach people and show people like how not just how to play the game, but how to learn the game so that they can express themselves in the teams and decisions that they make.
Dude, I'm so glad that you messaged me. This has been like a revelation. I appreciate everything. You give me so many like fascinating things to think about and come back and review. And I'm like so grateful, man. Thank you for giving me the time.
I hate to ask this, but could you click play? I want to see what the rating was of this battle because
Of
this
course,
guy
yeah.
played great.
Yeah, you guys were in the
Oh,
mid to upper
yo,
1500s.
he was cooking.
Oh, he was up
Yeah,
to
this was
1620, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the times where I was like, I hadn't used this account in a while and it had decayed. So I feel a little bad for taking 26 points. That probably wasn't super fair.
This says that this was this past Monday. I don't know if that's accurate.
No, okay, that probably is accurate. Oh no, wait, yeah, no, I remember. This is definitely an account that I just hadn't touched for like 10 months. And then popped back on because I think I had messaged you about ADV, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, I'm going to look like an idiot if I don't remember anything about ADV. Let's hop on the ladder and remember some stuff.
Well, you definitely remembered some stuff, man. Well, again, thanks so much. I gotta take my dog outside, so I think this is gonna be like a good stopping point for me. But
perfect, and we finished the game too, so I think that's a perfect stopping point.
Yeah, man. But it'd be cool to have you on again sometime, and maybe I can run some ladder matches, and you can watch over my shoulder and watch the growth and the evolution.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very excited to see what team you come up with.
I'll tell you once we get off stream. I'll tell you I have something cooking that isn't working, but I in my soul I believe it can work, and one day I will make it happen. It's gonna be so insane.
That's the whole point. That makes me so excited because that's the whole point. The whole point is being like, I'm gonna make Hariyama Snorlax work.
Right.
It's got to be able to do it somehow.
Exactly.
And it means that every time you lose with that team, you're going to be tinkering with it. You're going to be like, oh, what if I change this EV set? What if I change this or that? And every time you lose and you're okay with the EVs, you're going to say, you know what? I could have won that. It was because after I subbed on the Skarm switch, I should have Earthquaked into the Milo so that I had options against the Skarmory. And then after it protects on the overheat, I could have boomed on the switch. That's what I should have done. And you're not blaming the team without knowing what's going on. You're not blaming yourself without knowing what's going on. You're saying, I know what went wrong. I'm going to change it. And the next time it happens, I'm going to be better. Who cares about rating? It's about getting better.
Exactly. Like the rating comes along with getting better. It's more like a secondary focus and goal. Just learn and improve and have fun, and the rest will come along. But
yeah, and I don't think you were having fun with the Electrode team. It didn't sound like it. It sounded like it was quite frustrating.
I only played a few games, but yeah, there were some moments. There were definitely some moments. But I'm gonna call it. Thanks again, Win, so much. This has been
absolutely
super sick. And
well, you have a good night and enjoy walking your dog. I love dogs, but I am not capable enough.
I understand. Well, stick around for a moment because I want to tell you about this idea, and then I'll let you go. But I'm gonna cut the stream.
Please.
Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.
So they're not gonna know.
No, the stream won't know. No, nobody gets to know until it's like perfected, and I like beat like conflict myself on like high ladder or like ABR in tournament or some shit, and then people will be like, oh yeah, like the classic like Zet's blank team. But we'll get there